Boys in white dresses with blue satin sashes, girls stuffed with hormones till they grow mustaches, changing the gender of all your offspring. These are a few of my favorite things.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I hope you're all doing well. Didn't miss me too hard yesterday when I took a night off due to a personal family matter, specifically a wedding. It was fun. We had a great time. So no cause for concern. A little bit of drinking, a lot of dancing, and good times had by all. But we're back tonight, and we are talking about the implosion of the planet across the world. I almost called tonight's show 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a race war, because we are seeing an explosion coming out of the verdict from the Karmelo Anthony trial. In case you missed it, Karmelo Anthony, the individual who killed Austin Hunter, was sentenced to 35 years. 19-year-old man who tried claiming self-defense. That defense was utterly rejected by the jury. They rejected the notion that it was a crime of passion. They said, we're giving you 35 years. He's going to come out. He'll be 54 years old, although they say he's probably going to get 20 years or so. The world has exploded as the race grifters have basically gone nuts trying to claim that this entire verdict was based on purely racist motives. And we're going to hear from perhaps the looniest of the loons, and break down just how shameful, it really either one works. The grift is, it's really asinine. But that's not the only world. That's the only part of the corner of the world that's burning, is the racism and the racist claims in America. No. Apparently, we have more going on in the EU as well, as more racial conflicts exploding there. Plus, we have Graham Platner winning the Democratic nomination in Maine as anticipated. And somehow this seems to spur on, perhaps, hopefully, resurrecting the Save America Act. And we're going to get into all of that and more. But I'm not here alone tonight. No. Backstage, I have this guy right here, Sin, my Wednesday night host. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself, man?
Thank God. I'm really good. I'm really good. So were you following the Karmelo Anthony case?
A little bit here and there, just keeping up. When it initially happened, I was paying attention to it. And then, it took so long in order to go to trial and everything to happen that, I left it and quit, looking at it. And then, everything's fine, right? Everything's okay.
You have any idea how guilty this guy was?
Oh, completely guilty. The fact he only got 35 years was insane to me.
Really? You thought
honestly, yeah, I thought he should have got more. But I guess him being young, they gave him a little easy. You gave it to him a little easy, I thought, anyway. So
okay. All right. I can understand that. Let's get a little flavor just so everyone can appreciate before we get into this. Because if you're not following this story of Karmelo Anthony, good on you that you managed to keep the news out and live under a rock. It means that you're actually probably a much healthier individual than yours truly. But the fascinating thing, when you hear what the evidence that the jury got to see, this is a smattering of what they got. The sickening Karmelo Anthony attack photo that made jurors gasp in horror. A hideous detail about his knife and every shocking moment in murder trial that guaranteed his 35-year sentence. Should we take a quick look at this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because where are you going, right?
I'm not going anywhere for a few hours.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
It was a case that divided Texas beyond, poured over by pundits for months. and leaving many asking what justice looked like for a crime that quickly became a racial flashpoint. On Tuesday, it took a Collin County jury in Dallas suburbs just under 3 hours. That's fast. Give him 35 years. It's like, yeah, there was no convincing going on there. It took them under 3 hours to convict 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony of murdering Austin Metcalf, 17, at a high school track meet last year. Anthony, who was also 17 at the time, stabbed Metcalf after a confrontation in a school tent. That much was never disputed. Anthony admitted to police that he killed Metcalf minutes afterwards. The case ultimately hinged on whether Anthony was acting in self-defense, a theory the jury rejected resolutely, along with 2 lesser charges of manslaughter and sudden passion. Same 12-member panel comprised of white, Asian, Hispanic, and Indian jurors, but crucially no black jurors, something Anthony's defenders say was an injustice, outrageous. Sentenced him to 35 years. Isn't that a weird little wrinkle that Texas has, that the jury gets to select the sentence?
Yeah, for sure.
It's something that the defense counsel gets to choose. Who do you want to sentence? You want the jury to sentence, or you want the judge? But they have to pick that before the trial begins. So they basically say, if you lose, sentencing should be done by the judge or the jury. And from what I understand, most defendants in Texas pick the judge, which is probably the smarter course.
Yeah.
The reason it's probably the smarter course is because if you got 12 people who are finding you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt to find you guilty in the first place, I'm probably not looking at you too favorably.
For sure.
A judge is able to sort of separate and distinguish and sort of, parse things out and say, okay, look, there's really guilty here, but
Yeah, but does Texas have like scheduling for sentencing? Like first offense, you can only sentence them up to a certain amount, so on and so forth, or is it?
I cannot. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into. That's a good.
I wouldn't think Texas would, but I'm curious about.
You're asking a very fair and reasonable question. I'm not aware that they are. It's an astonishing thing to me that they let the jury do this. I've never heard of another jurisdiction that lets the jury send, and it seems stupid to rely on a jury, doesn't it? Doesn't that seem like the most foolish thing in the world?
I think so, but it also adds a human element to it. Like I think Karmelo Anthony got off light. Anything less than life for what he did is insane to me. But I do think there may have been a human element in that because of his age. So the jury may have been disgusted by what he did and said, you know what, we'll sentence him this, and then it had to be some sort of humanity bargaining going on there.
You know how much money they raised in his defense?
I have no clue, but I know a lot of people were disgusted by it. So
I think like $600,000-$700,000. You know how much money they spent on his defense?
Way more than that, I'm sure.
Nothing.
Wait, what?
Public defender.
No.
Yeah.
Where does $600,000-$700,000 go? Commissary, this guy for the next 35 years?
To his Mimo and Pappy?
Wait, so hold up. So his Mimo and Pappy just got a $700,000 come up off of him murdering a guy.
Yep.
There's got to be some sort of civil suit coming down the pike. There has to be something somewhere.
The civil suit would be against him. He doesn't have anything. He's got no money. The civil suit, you're right, would come. They'll probably try, like a creative lawyer is probably going to try and figure out how to get that money from the parents. And, saying that the notion that you can make money off of committing a crime. There are a lot of state statutes which basically enable the victim of the crime to collect that money. And a creative lawyer,
there's a lot of.
If you're the Metcalf family, I highly recommend that they use Attorney Tom. He's great at this sort of thing. So I would highly recommend they use Attorney Tom. And if Attorney Tom does get on this case or anyone else, I'm sure they're going to try and find a way to attach those assets because like they're basically profiteering off of the crime that their son committed. But I don't know that the law will allow them to, because they're a third party.
It's
not
got to be
them.
something. I'm going to start researching this myself, because that is to do that, and then just take it as a 700,000 come up like that is some very
It's very unsettling.
behavior.
It's very unsettling. Apparently their GoFundMe was shut down, so they started up a new one.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's what people are mad about, because it should have been shut down, I think.
His main Give Send Go has been taken down. Another one has just popped up today. Guess who started? Dominique Alexander. That's his boy. With the funds going to Carmelo's mother. It's just a grift. It's just a grift.
Oh, my baby done stab a white boy. We gonna get us an Escalade.
No.
I can't.
I don't know what's going to end up happening to that money. If they shut it down, does that mean they're not going to give them the money? They may not. And if I was, like I said, if I was the Hunter family or their counsel, I'd try to find a way to seize that money.
Yeah, I would. I definitely would. I mean, they can go after him, and for anything he makes in jail or anything he's given, they can actually, redirect that to the family.
Which would be justice, especially because all the crazy people. We're going to look at some of the craziest of the crazies, who are likely of a similar mindset to those who are actually giving into this grift. Think of how pissed off they'll be. Think of how pissed they'll be to learn that the money's ends up in the Hunter's hands. Like they gave money to Karmelo Anthony. Like that to me, there's a certain karmic justice. Like you're trying to give money to Anthony, and it ends up going to the Hunter family.
I agree with that. But isn't it, if you have a reasonable means to pay for a lawyer, don't you have to pay for a public defender after the fact? Like,
it's not his money.
But they're responsible for him. He was underage when all this happened, right?
Well, he was tried as an adult.
I don't think that would matter, though. I think you could find some clever lawyering there in order for at least the state to. I'd rather the state get it than Shaquita Anthony.
Parents. Yeah,
I don't know his mom's
not
name.
Her name.
I'm just trying to be respectful. And
yes, that was very, very respectful. That was the ultimate sign of respect when you called her Shaniqua.
I said Shaquita. It's a very strong name.
Very strong name.
Yeah. What's your problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you making this weird, Joe?
Every show that you come on here, every time,
every single time.
It's like I figure maybe we'll make it through this. Although to be fair, with this topic tonight, I was like,
you know what?
This is the wrong thing. By the way, I forgot. I noticed the scroll across the bottom. I forgot to tell you all that we do have a goal tonight. We do, and that's something I should be pumping. He's always telling me, Joe, you need to push the goal. If we get 15 super chats, rumble rants, shekels, whatever, and quantities of $10 or more, it could be PayPal.
Yeah.
Venmo.
Dong.
What's that?
Vietnamese dong. We've had this discussion before. You've always, you could pay Joe in dong. You might have fans in Vietnam. I'm just throwing out different currencies. Francs, euros, anything like that.
Right. Well, if we get quantities of 10, we get 15 of those. But in that case, I'm gonna give you an extra 50% of the show. The show is supposed to be 2 hours. We're gonna go for 3. That's like
an extra 50% of the show.
You like that? It is an extra 50%. It is.
Buy one, get one half off is what you're saying.
You tried talking to your, in your room to a camera for like 3 hours. Try doing it. I mean, it's not like he helps. So you try doing it.
What are you doing? I spin you gold all the time, and you just go on rants. You just like, I'm gonna yell at the world. I'm shaking my fist at clouds.
Angry old Jew. Stop looking like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
let's not kosher now. Let's get it back on the rails.
Yeah. With that, I'm going to pick up on I'm going to pick up the chats, and then we're going to look at what the jury heard. So, not a follower, hails not the leader and not the co-host. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
She's been
Tammy.
watching my show. I
Busy
love it.
decorating the luxury rock she lives under.
Yeah.
See, she doesn't know anything about it. So it's really Tammy.
She says the same thing about coming to my show.
We're telling you all about what the jury got to see and why this guy was quite so guilty.
Mm.
Jade Schwab popping in here with 20. Joe Sins, you have a K-knife.
A knife?
A knife.
Mm-hmm.
Do you dream of stabby? Does sleeping on white sheets make you feel uncomfortable? Sin, what's in your heart? Can our people be friends? By our people, I mean realtors.
Yeah, I mean, realtors are naturally cutthroat. I'll tell you that.
Right?
They are naturally cutthroat.
It
is
so nasty.
It is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Evil people.
But yeah, you know, I mean, I carry white sheets in the trunk of my car. So
yeah. Evil. Hands One Pack says Gibson goes ready to cancel their fund and refunding anything left in the fund.
Good.
So they're giving the money back.
Good. Do it.
And also thank you to all the Jim Tells You folk. Thank you for popping on in here. Much obliged to you. Much obliged indeed. So always good to see those people popping on in here. They chose the jury because they thought the judge could be racist. Oh wait, the jury's racist. Right. I know. It's like whoever ended up deciding is, didn't you realize that if you're going to be found guilty, that it means they don't like you for one reason or another? He was 1 month from turning 18. Stop with young crap.
No, I'm not saying that he's immature and shouldn't have been tried as an adult, but I'm saying if a clever lawyer decided to use him as not being an actual adult, even though he was tried that way, could have tried to claw that money back before Gibson go.
It's very good Jasmine Crockett type of thinking you're displaying there. But it was stated that the fund was for his defense. Yeah, and you can't do that. That doesn't work. How did Texas Circuit Court judge certify indigency for Karmelo? A 17-year-old will always be indigent if you do not count guardian's assets. Yeah, that's true. It's the case almost always. I mean, there's some self-made 17-year-olds, but most of the time, yeah, I agree with you. They probably are going to be indigent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the parents. They don't have to pay for it. So, on the other hand, you know, maybe if he actually pays for a real lawyer, the lawyer actually, you know, ends up saying, let's have the judge do the sentencing.
You think they didn't talk to a real lawyer though?
They had a lawyer.
No, I'm saying you didn't think they talked to like a real
Ken Howard or something.
Yeah, you think they didn't talk to one of those guys and be like, "Hey, take a look at this case," and they were like, "That kid's fried, man. There's no way to win this." And they just said, "All right, we'll just go with the public defender."
Any lawyer looking at this case objectively knew he was fried.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm going to tell you a tragic error that his counsel did not do. Given that the evidence was so overwhelmingly terrible for him, overwhelmingly terrible, I think it was a tragic error not putting him on the stand and having him bawl and weep with regrets about how this incident happened. And because we'll see that, like, you know, and describing it as, like, you know, an act of passion that he felt like, you know, threatened, whatever, and he never done anything like that before in his life. They should have had him bawl and weep and, you know, basically, you know, apologizing there from the witness box to the Hunter family and, you know, talking about how this haunts him every day. That's what they should have done. And I'll tell you right now, he almost certainly wouldn't have gotten 35 years.
Yeah, I still think
you see an 18-year-old kid crying there. You know, you have all these people talking. You can introduce, you know, you can also introduce, if you allow the other side to do it, character references. So if you have if the with respect to criminal trial, the prosecution is not allowed to bring up character witnesses to say you're a terrible person. Usually, I mean, almost always. We saw that in the Alex Murdaugh trial. It's sort of that Judge Newman let them get away with a lot to try and disparage his character under the guise of this is part of the motive. But as a general rule in a criminal trial, you're not allowed to impugn the defendant's character because we don't want the jury. That's the default standard, because we don't want a jury to punish him for being a jerk. We want them to find his guilt or innocence based on the particular charge and not because he's a lifelong jerk. So that's why prosecution is not allowed to introduce that. But the door can be opened by the defense if they're so inclined.
I mean, they went with self-defense in the case.
Self-defense,
right?
but self-defense just means in this moment we're doing the right thing for self-defense. You want to know why this is such a terrible look? We'll get into like the evidence against him.
Yeah.
And as we're doing that, I'll explain to you just how terrible it was to believe that he had any basis under the law to get out of this crime. No one who actually understands anything about law principles and looks at this case would think he had any shot at all.
Yeah, I love or whatever, but like the initial thing was
I'll walk you through it.
The initial thing was that he was in the team tent that wasn't assigned to him, and he told Metcalf not to touch him. Metcalf it shoved him or somehow touched him, and he just boinked him right in the chest. Yink.
That's essentially it. Yeah.
And to me, my brain goes, well, that's not self-defense at that point.
Well, if he punched him in the face, that could be self-defense. But
that was an escalation.
You cannot defend with a deadly weapon unless you're in imminent fear. You're in fear of imminent death or serious bodily injury.
Okay.
So, and there's no way you can make out that claim. I mean, we're going to see one Texan lawyer who thinks that such a claim can be made out.
I'm always in imminent fear and bodily injury of being on this show with Joe Chat. Just so you know,
it's not
something ever happens. Injury. Just so you guys know, I'm putting that on the record.
It's not serious bodily injury, so
severe for me.
Yeah, let me just run through this real quick. Joe, how many dunks do you want for the goal? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. A lot of them. I have a pet rock that I walk on a leash. Nice. Don't swing him around too fast. You don't want him to get dizzy. What is the Rumble link, dwarf? I don't think you'll get Save America until you hear about the following case: Watson versus RNC. You need to look it up since I can't link it. Dwarf, get to work for once.
Well, is he referring to me? What a jerk, class of 21. You're being rude.
Yeah, it's not a way to really inspire people to do your bidding.
Yeah.
They prefer the phrase little people.
Oh, you're a piece of shit. I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
I'm so funny.
Since when? Well, who told you that lie?
Joey, Jew. You know, it's crazy. Because of you, in about 20 years, Sin will be the William F. Buckley of his generation, or maybe Whoopi Goldberg, depending on his medications. This is
well, it depends on if I shave my eyebrows off or
not. Almost certainly true. Okay, so this is what I wanted to. Let's take a look at what the jury saw. Let's take a gander at that. So the same 12-member panel comprised of white, Hispanic, whatever, sentenced 35 years. Despite all the outside attention on the case, jurors could only make their decision on evidence presented in court, and all of it sucked for Karmelo Anthony. From the Daily Mail's vantage of the courthouse, jurors had the biggest reaction to several highly visual pieces of evidence, including a photo of Metcalf's punctured heart, printed out and blown up to poster size. That's not going to look good. The medical examiner testified that the knife penetrated deep enough to pierce bone and the heart itself.
Do we know what the knife looked like? How
yes,
big the knife
we do.
was?
Oh, yes, we do.
That's one thing I've never seen was the knife.
You're about to.
I've got several knives around me, and none of those could do that except for one.
That's what you think. Karmelo Anthony left, so we're gonna look at some of them.
Some force.
Prosecutor held the image, walked up to the jury to show it directly so no one else in the courtroom could see. One juror, an Asian woman, gasped and covered her mouth in shock. During opening statements, defense attorney Mike Howard claimed that Anthony had been ganged up on, feared for his life. However, surveillance video of the April 2nd, 2025 stabbing shown in court and reviewed by Daily Mail prior to trial became central to the jury's rejection of that claim. The footage, while poor in quality and recorded from across the football field, shows students sitting under the Memorial High School team during a rain delay. There's no fight or large-scale brawl. There are no students surrounding or ganging up on anyone. Instead, it shows one-on-one confrontation between two people. Texas self-defense law generally requires reasonable fear of serious bodily injury or death, a threshold the state argued the video did not support. Nearly a dozen, and that's the problem. It doesn't look like he has any sort of legal basis to use a deadly weapon. Mm-hmm. Texas self-defense law generally requires nearly a dozen students from several high schools gave testimony that students from other schools were not allowed on the team's tents. Now, when this case first started, everyone said, now, once he goes into a tent, he's not allowed to be in, so he doesn't have self-defense. That's not true. That wasn't really central to this at all. All agree that Anthony, a student in Centennial, was asked to leave the Memorial High School tent more than 10 times. It wasn't just Austin, a teenager, testified. People, including myself, were saying for him to leave. However, Austin took the lead in asking Anthony to leave the tent after his coach had asked him to take on a leadership role during their track meets. This is the picture of him that they took after he was convicted, before his hours after his conviction for murder. And now a new jail booking photo showing him as a 19-year-old. All the witnesses agreed Metcalf was unarmed. None described anything approaching a deadly threat to Anthony. None of them knew Anthony was armed, even when he put his hands in his book bag and said, "Touch me and find out." Several of the kids called his bluff, according to the testimonies, with Metcalf apparently saying, "We're in Frisco, you don't have anything. I mean, you don't have backup." What it means is you don't have backup because Frisco is like a rich kid neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like a wealthy neighborhood. Frisco, known for its low crime rate, good schools, and high incomes, is one of the most desirable communities for families in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Anthony is not from Frisco. Defense attorney Mike Howard told jurors that the Louisiana native had relocated from Baton Rouge when his family, during his freshman year of high school, seeking a better life in the Lone Star State. As the verbal back and forth escalated, Metcalf stood up from the bleachers, walked over to Anthony, who was still seated. So that's also hurting your self-defense. When this is Metcalf. So this is Austin walks up to Karmelo Anthony while he's still seated. As Metcalf moved in to push him, Anthony pulled a knife from his backpack and plunged it into Metcalf's chest, striking his heart. So basically, Anthony's sitting there, reaching into his backpack. Austin Metcalf comes up to him, pushes him, and gets stabbed in the chest. Another pivotal moment of the trial, jurors were shown police body-worn camera footage capturing Anthony's confession to the arresting officer moments after the stabbing. That's not good. There's your knife.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, boys. Why?
It's an Ozark Trail folding knife sold at Walmart for $13. That's it right there. So, yeah, that's what did the deed. The blade is 3.5 inches.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times I think a lot of states have your blade can't be like no longer than 3 inches. So, Lord have mercy. Golly.
Frisco police officer Eduardo Cortez, who detained Anthony at David Kuykendall Stadium, told the court he was not questioning him and was acting solely to detain the suspect. He raised it. So in other words, that way you can take a statement as an admission. Because you can't, if you question him, you have to give him his Miranda rights. But if you're not questioning him, in that case, the guy just wants to start blurting out whatever he wants, then, that changes everything. He radioed other officers saying, "I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs detained." According to the footage, Anthony then said, "I'm not alleged, I did it."
Why? Why would you ever just shut up? Just shut up, period.
Shut your mouth.
They know you did it. Shut up.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to, Anthony added while sobbing. Other footage, you see, but here's the thing. While sobbing, that's what that day he was sobbing. This is why okay. Other footage showed the aftermath of the stabbing. One clip, the officer who recovered the weapon is seen sprinting across the field toward the bleachers where wounded Metcalf is receiving first aid. As the officer nears the scene, Metcalf's twin brother, Hunter, is hysterical and being restrained by a coach. Hunter can be heard screaming, "Oh my God, he's my best friend, he's my brother." The officer reaches the bleachers where Metcalf is lying at the bottom, his shirt pulled up as coaches and medical staff attempt CPR. His 6'1", 213-pound frame lays motionless as responders try to save his life. The officer continues up the steps until he finds the knife Anthony had pulled from his backpack, an Ozark Trail folding knife with a black blade and gray handle. So here's the thing, supposedly there's all this different video of Karmelo. So basically the problem that they're going to have, and we got to feel for the evidence that they saw. The problem that they have here is that under the law, he's just guilty.
Yeah. I don't see any other way around it.
This is why it took less than 3 hours for the jury to come back in.
Yeah.
They say that the defense witnesses that they put up there were all like, "Oh yeah, he totally stabbed him, but he got shoved first." It's like, that doesn't do anything. That's not helping you.
You're not allowed to kill somebody for shoving you.
Right. You can't kill someone for shoving you. So, which is the way the law should be. So now, with that in mind, I would think you get him up there and basically you're pleading for mercy from whoever it is that's deciding your case. And you show his regret. And I mentioned earlier, I said that the prosecution cannot raise your character, but the defense can and say, look, this is not the type of kid he was. They have all this different video of him looking like a good person. They can bring up, there's a story of him saving a kid from drowning a year earlier. How he's a productive member of society. And this was just one crazy day where whatever it is that, he felt like he was, he had to defend himself under the law. That may or may not be true. But this is a kid who's normally an asset to society, an invaluable asset to society. And it's a terrible tragedy that he's regretted every day of his life ever since. That's how you frame it.
Yeah.
So.
And you got to give him a tragic backstory. You got to give him something. This kid was suffering. He was mentally ill. Sort of thing.
You know what else I would have put up there? I would have put up there that like his parents are even, this is how terrible his parents are, that they're actually grifting off of this. And spending no money on his defense.
Yeah, they're going to collect all this money. Look at
it. He's
got a public defender while GoFundMe's at over $500,000 right now.
Exactly. And I would you have to get permission from the court before you can say that you're a public defender. But you basically say, like, I want the jury to appreciate just what terrible parenting he has. That he's on trial for his life, and his parents don't give a damn. They look at it as a money squeezing opportunity. Now that would give the prosecution an opportunity to raise any sort of character evidence they can to dispute that and refute that. So if there's monstrosity in his past, but aside from this killing, well, that would now be relevant, and the prosecution would be allowed to introduce that to refute the testimony that he's this great kid. But if this is something that if you're his defense counsel, you have to basically say, well, I'm willing to roll the dice on whatever terrible things they might have in order to show that he's saving lives and what terrible regret he has, and you have to put him on the stand. He never took the stand.
I mean, a lot of times they say not to do it in murder trials, but in this one, he had no other opportunity whatsoever.
This was because because a smart
you want to try to tell them how
terrible you would think a shrewd attorney would look at how terrible the situation is from a legal perspective and just say, we need to get him up there. Now, it's a little easy to Monday morning quarterback after the verdicts come in. And to be fair, it's easy to ask these questions now, but and I don't have the read well, and I've never met the kid, and I don't know how he testifies, and I don't know if he would have looked like shifty and terrible, and I don't know if maybe there's some dark stories about him out there which could hurt his character testimony. If, maybe he's wielding that knife, and they'd be able to put up Facebook photos where the guy's trying to look like a thug.
Yeah,
but this way you could start getting character testimony in there to try and just basically say this is an element of passion, because we're going to see that part of what he's able to do is basically try and get the jury to believe that this was a momentary act of passion, in which case the sentencing would restrict them. If they make that finding that this was a moment of passion,
that it wasn't premeditated.
His sentence gets capped at 20 years max.
Oh, well,
that's significant. Now they say they expect he's going to serve. They serve with the 35-year sentence. They expect he's going to serve 17 to 20 years. The 20-year sentence, he gets half that. So, he'd be out in 10 years. I'm just talking about how I'm just guiding you through different options that were available to the attorney who was representing him, but he's a public defender. Now, I'm not trying to disparage him. Maybe there's things in there that he was able to see. I don't even met Mark Howard. Maybe he's a brilliant attorney, but there's, maybe there was a lot of terrible stuff out there about him. Maybe he, when they tried talking to him and seeing how he would look on the stand, he was like, oh my God, if they see him on the stand, they're going to give him 99 years because he looks like so monstrous. So maybe that's, there is a roll of dice that could have come back worse if they really hated him when seeing him on the stand.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, yeah, he may have flipped out. He may have just been bad on the stand. Any lawyer worth their salt would have interviewed him and tried to do some sort of role play, mock trial, mock on the stand thing. Even a public defender. So
we can give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he looked terrible.
That's all you can do. I've never really seen an interview of the kid though. So
no, well, you wouldn't. Why would you? If you're his lawyer, you'd be like, you're not talking to the press. Nothing good can come out of that. So, Kimmy's saying, Joe. Well, I don't know. If the congressional baseball game is being played, GOP 11, Dems 2. Send you a fabulous major league catch by Senator Eric Schmidt. Really? I'll try it. Let me see if I can dig that up here. Senator Eric Schmidt.
Senators playing baseball as the country burns. Good job, boys.
We'll just get this out of the way real fast.
Well, I mean, somebody is saying that he had suspected to have other violent incidents. So he's a young black guy. So the odds are not in his favor, especially if he's carrying a knife and his immediate response is a stab. So.
That one struck to left field, and what a dive! Whoa, what a great
Eric
play.
Schmidt. Amazing catch down the left field.
That is impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Would be proud.
You know what? Good job.
Look at the nose.
Wow, and he roughed himself up here a little bit when he hit the
His nose is going to hurt tomorrow.
warning track on the side there. Now
that would have been your nose. It would have broke clean off.
You might have to.
They'd have to regrass that section of the field.
I don't understand. Why would that happen?
She got a big nose, Joe. I mean, how are you missing that?
That's just not true. My nose is perfect for my face. I'm very grateful for my nose. Especially considering my DNA. I won the lottery.
That when you're right, you're right.
Bandage.
I was talking about.
He's doing an old school there, just wiping some dirt on it. He covered a lot of ground, got high on the horse there. And that was going to be a fair ball, I think, there, Kevin.
Yeah, I think so, too. And then he caught that on the heel of the glove. Face plant. Redbirds would be proud of a play like that.
There you go.
That worth every last replay.
All right, now let's get him out of Congress. Okay, so
Good job, Congress. Way to go. Good catch, Schmidt. I mean, that was a really good catch. It was very impressive.
It actually was.
Please hit the nose button. Somebody says, "See."
He did have an outside defender also. They had one initially, but they whatchamacallit? I think they got in the early stages. Do you all see the team of Black Panthers at trial? We're gonna. I'm getting to the different crowd. I'm heading there right now. Different people. First, we should get like a little bit more about the outcome of this whole thing here. So Marianne Martinez, who I believe was at the trial, said, breaking the Karmelo Anthony jury has reached a decision in his sentence. To recap, the jury had two options to pick from. for sentencing 5 to 99 years for the murder charge. However, they were given the option of finding Karmelo guilty of sudden passion. All 12 jurors must agree to sudden passion in order for them to pick that. If they do, the prison time drops to 2 to 20 years in prison. Jury started deliberating at 4:37 p.m. Central. Karmelo Anthony's parents just escorted in the black holding area where Karmelo is held when he's not in court. He walked in the courtroom, looked distraught, looks like he's been crying. His attorney's comforting him. Karmelo's sitting at the defense table, his head hanging down. They just brought him water. So yeah, he broke down crying. He's a murderer. So send him to jail. He is. Guy, look, you know what? He can cry. That's something that unfortunately Austin Metcalf
can't.
You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's not able to anymore because he got Karmelo Anthony got shoved.
Right.
And so he took that right away from
Metcalf got murdered.
Yeah, and Metcalf decided, you know what? I'll just get murdered today because this guy doesn't understand. You know.
Yeah, because a lunatic decides to kill me. Yeah. So some of the reactions that came out afterwards were kind of wild. We'll look through a few of them real quick here. This is perfectly fine. This is all reasonable behavior. Yeah, some of the other stuff I've seen of people explaining what's going on, it's been hilarious. It's insane how, like, you know, because he's a black guy being tried, it's like
where's Chud the Builder when you need him?
There's a,
That's the crazy part.
I mean, these guys are rational, you know? I think it's very rational behavior. The kid got 35 years, which I think is a travesty. And they're not happy with it. They're not happy that this kid stabbed somebody for no good reason whatsoever and is going to get out in, like, 15 years. So
Isaac Hayes III put out there. The Karmelo Anthony verdict shows that the justice system has reverted back to the Jim Crow South era. It's no longer about evidence. It's no longer about right or wrong. It's about keeping racial score through the prosecution and imprisonment of black people. It was no surprise that an all-white jury wasn't an all-white jury.
Wasn't an all-white jury. Just went over it.
Yeah. Would find the 19-year-old kid who was bullied and harassed by 2 6'1" bullies. It wasn't 2. It was only 1. Guilty of murder while he was minding his business, just minding his business. We have seen this story before. A young black man is put on trial, and somehow the burden shifts from what happened to him to why he should not have defended himself. The facts become secondary. The optics become everything. Look at this lunatic. The outcome feels predetermined long before the verdict is read. That's because under the law, he was completely guilty. People tell you not to make it about race. You're the only ones but race has always been part of the story in America. The hard truth is that many black people no longer believe they will receive the benefit of the doubt when their freedom is on the line. And verdicts like this are exactly why. At some point, we have to stop pretending that everyone's playing by the same set of rules because the people watching this case saw something very different than what the jury claimed to see. Yeah? They saw that the dude basically pulled a knife. But you can't bring a machine gun to a bar fight. It's really that simple.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're not allowed to do that. It's so stupid. Nah, man, he shoved me though. Yeah, I'm allowed to stab him to death, right? No, it's not how this works.
Never worked that way. Not at all. Look how this guy was ratioed. 6,300 likes, 27,000 comments.
Yeah.
If you're going to post this retarded race baiting BS, can you at least have decency to write yourself and not use ChatGPT?
Yeah, it's true.
Not being allowed to stab people to death is Jim Crow. AI helps reveal which people are too stupid to write a tweet. I'm just here to add to the ratio. You ready to use the freebie on OJ? How many guilty murderers need to go free for you to feel you aren't a slave anymore? They're very harsh.
So basically what these people want is be able to, if you get into a confrontation with someone that is white, and and it goes to a shoving match because words or whatever the situation leads to, you're allowed to kill them and walk away free because, well, I was disrespected.
Yeah, according to them, for sure.
Okay.
And here's where he reveals himself. I was scrolling down here because I remember that there was something. Black people are always the victim. Always, from the moment we came here against our will, yes. That comment from him had 2,000 comments. From the moment we came here against our will, yes, we are always the victim.
I mean,
I haven't looked at this, but I'm sure they're all in leave.
Yeah.
Go.
Most likely. Yeah, you don't have to be here. There was that trend like a year ago where they were all going back to Africa and saying, honey, I don't like it over here. I'm going back home. They don't even like us. That's literally the voice. Okay. Don't roll your eyes at me when I'm giving an exact representation of the lady that was doing that. Okay.
Here's the thought. See? No, this is our country now. You're going extinct. LOL. Oh, okay. That had 1,000 comments. 57 likes. Yeah. So apparently this was a very bad day for Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes.
Hayes the third.
Yeah.
Isaac Hayes the third.
Not even the second.
Yeah.
Good job, bro. Way to go, Mr. Hayes.
This one we saw already.
Somebody said.
But I said like there's good video of him, that they could have used. Yeah. I wasn't making that up. Like this is like,
This is good video.
This is Karmelo Anthony that they could have shown if they allowed character testimony in there. Now, I don't know. Maybe there's some terrible stuff they got on him.
I've already got like 3 jokes lined up for this, and I'm not going to do them. Not on your show, but
no, by all means.
No, you're not gaslighting me into doing this again. I'm sorry. You ruined that. It's way too early. We've only been going for 45 minutes.
Kick the football, Charlie. Kick the football. Kick the football, Charlie Brown.
No, thank you, sir.
I'm holding it.
I'm holding it. You are holding it firmly. That's right.
Give it the best kick you can.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro. Not this time. You got me once. Fool me once.
That's good going on.
Like, why not show this Karmelo Anthony? And they could have.
I mean,
his defense counsel could have.
I got him, Caleb. I got him. I got him.
They could have put this up there.
Karmelo Anthony, class of 2025, Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas.
Oof. Didn't even make it, did he? Rough.
Yeah.
Kid had a Mercedes. Come on, man.
Yeah, baby.
It might not have been his. They put together this nice collage.
Yeah, that's a good going.
About what, about like, how he was just like a good kid.
Yeah, of course he was.
So.
He didn't have some victim mentality.
But here's his grandmother going out there. Trust me, she's in on the grift also. She's so
racist.
That's his grandmother, who I assume is 40.
A white person to hit a black boy and get away.
That's it. Yeah. They send a message. Yeah.
We love y'all.
It ain't the end of the road.
We love y'all.
That's his uncle.
We know the truth.
That's racist.
Bias.
Racist bias.
Y'all
Yeah, everyone's racist by his business.
Racist. Y'all got them Kool-Aid pineapple spears.
Everyone's racist.
I'd be out there selling those Kool-Aid pineapple spears, making bank right now if I was somebody.
By the way,
what?
Brand new car.
Yeah, brand stinking new.
I'm from Baton Rouge. I promise you. I know how it is. I moved out here from Baton Rouge. The same school.
We love y'all.
We love you.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
That's the man. I gotta put y'all from my seat. Hey, hold on. I got my Baton Rouge.
We love y'all.
My Baton Rouge people.
All right, so we got the point there.
Free Carmelo. They're right, baby.
Here's Dominique Alexander.
Good job, Dominique.
Coming out and explaining to us the facts of life in America for a black man.
Not one black soul on a jury.
On his life.
And all white jury.
That ain't true. But he figures the people he's talking to are too dumb to know that.
Convicted him in 2 to 3 hours.
What was that?
Somebody, because I said I'd be out there selling those Kool-Aid spears if it was me. Those pineapple. Think about how. Look, it's hot. It's in tech. All right, Joe, you're missing a grand business opportunity. Okay,
please walk me through.
You go to Sam's. You buy a whole pallet or two of those pineapple spears. You make the Kool-Aid pineapple spears. While they're protesting,
pineapple.
Have you not seen those? It's very trendy right now. It's trending on like Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff. They're Kool-Aid pineapple spears that people are making.
Kool-Aid pineapple spears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So you make those, and then you go out there while they're protesting. It's hot, and you sell them to these guys fighting the man at a markup, and then you make some money off the situation. So that's what I would do if I was in Texas.
Maybe should have gone.
I didn't know they were going to protest, but maybe I'll go tomorrow.
All right, we'll still be no problem.
We know that they did not prove their case.
Even the defense alone proved the case.
Wait a second, I think finished talking.
They are currently facing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process.
Did you?
But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation,
am I an internet lawyer?
Yes, yeah, you are. Now you are. You don't practice anymore, so yeah, you would technically be an internet lawyer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of myself as an internet lawyer.
You weren't, but you are now.
Damn it.
Only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes.
If you're not an attorney, how are you helping them navigate? You're helping them grift, maybe. Maybe one thing would have been to like tell them, hey, use some of that freaking money to buy an actual attorney.
Maybe
an attorney. That's one way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's one way to go.
Yeah,
when they find themselves in this type of situation,
why has he got to live?
Only allow lawyers to.
You see, this guy basically is trying to promote his next grift.
He's sassy though.
He's trying to promote his next grift. That's all he's doing. He's like,
it's just one of the new race baiters that's gonna be out there saying every black man ain't never didn't do nothing.
He wants to be the next Al Sharpton, basically.
Oh, hey, good job, buddy.
That's who we're talking about.
That grift has been going for a while, bro.
Yeah. Well, those people got old or died.
Carmelo Anthony didn't do nothing. It was another black man that stabbed that pretty little white boy. I'm telling you.
Be what they are. Lawyers.
It was at a track meet.
Them, I can't stop them from doing anything. I have to respect the process just like anybody else. But what we saw today was flawed, unjust.
It hurt, Dad.
And I ask that the community continue to pray for the Anthony.
Somebody bring me some pineapple spears.
I do not speak for them, but
I'm thirsty.
I know that the next generation.
Is that like a black person drink the pineapple spears?
It's a thing. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's a black person trend right now.
It's like grape knee high.
they've been taking Kool-Aid and mixing it in like a jar of pineapple spears. Yeah, it's a huge trend right now. It's all over my Twitter.
So you take actual pineapple cut into spears and mix it into your Kool-Aid.
Sam's sells pineapples that are already cut into spears with the juice in them. You put Kool-Aid and sugar in there and turn them into pineapple or Kool-Aid spears is what you do. And they've been selling these things. A jar of them is like $5, and they've been selling them anywhere from $20 to $200. It's a thing.
$20 to $200?
Yes. Yeah. They soak the spears in in Kool-Aid.
How long do they soak them there for?
I don't know. I'm not black. I ain't never made them. I just eat pineapple like a normal white person.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
We'll be
I'm just
here as support. My heart hurts right now because in the endurance of the
I can't listen to him anymore. I can't.
What's the rogue there, Joe?
You
don't want the innocence of this beautiful black baby to be shown in front of America and your audience tonight? You scared of the black man?
Trump's bombing the crap out of Iran and Kurds moving?
Nice. Good job, Joe.
That's my fault too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because the Apache helicopter that got taken down. Does anyone ever think about alternative sentencing? What if the judge sentence was lifetime community service teaching against gang violence? Could have been. Who knows? Testosterone should be illegal. I ask a Democrat. I don't. Joe, look him up. When I try putting in Dominique Alexander, I don't know what I'm supposed to look up. Is activist Dominique Alexander.
Why do you feel that people feel so strongly about this trial, about this verdict on both sides?
I think because of the current climate of our country regarding race relations.
When was this not the climate of our country when you say it's the current climate?
Many people try to skip
before
over
2008.
Situation.
Yep.
I saw it. I mean, I saw it in real time. At the job I worked at, I saw it happen. I saw attitudes change. And I looked around, I was like, wow, everybody was really cool with each other about a year ago.
Yep.
Everybody was really cool. Now there's a lot of weird victimhood and superiority complexes. And I saw it happen in real time. I remember being at work and seeing Obama being, sworn in. We all stopped. We all watched it. And then within a year, you could literally see attitudes that had flipped. It was insane.
I really didn't want to spend that very long on Dominique Alexander. I just wanted you to get a flavor of what was happening outside the courtroom. But it's not just him. It's not just him. You're right in what you're saying.
This seems like a very rational lady here. We should probably listen to her. I wonder what her favorite brand of or flavor of Kool-Aid pineapple spears.
Telling me a grainy video is shown to jurors, but it was shown in 4K clear to the people that witnessed it. No witness on that stand had that little man's back. None, 0 out of 21 people being questioned. Come on, man, I'm done with all of that. I feel the same way about white people, the same way they feel about my people. Yeah, try one of us. You telling me?
See, it's like that. This is the victimhood, as if this is like white people are trying to come up after black people. That's basically what the message is. That white people are trying to go after black people, just trying to do whatever they can to bring down black people. Here's your Timu Black Panthers over here.
The black kittens.
This is a racist ass country. We gotta tell them the truth. Who don't get stop that cool ass shit? Don't nobody want to hear about what we do to each other.
Wait, what did you say?
Stop that coon ass shit.
Oh, I thought you said Kool-Aid. I thought.
No, she didn't say Kool-Aid. Although that would also fit. She looks like she's had too many of those pineapple spears. I love this stuff.
Mexicans kill Mexicans. We ain't trying to hear no cool shit today. Go over there with some white folks.
In other words, who cares if black people are killing black people? Mexicans
Yeah.
kill Mexicans.
Yeah, white folk kill white folk. We ain't try to hear none of that. Better go on somewhere.
Racist country. We're in a racist ass state. This is a racist ass court. There ain't nothing else to talk about. When has a white boy been before an all black jury? Tell us, media. Tell us, white folks. When has a white boy been before an all black jury? Never.
How's it murder?
This is
Is
racist.
he
You know why?
asked?
You know
Is he
why?
okay?
Because you know what?
Oh, he asked. Oh, okay. After he killed him, he says, "Is he okay?" No, he's not okay. He stabbed him in the heart, literally.
Now the verdict is he got justice because he got to go before a jury of 6 or 12 instead of being buried by 6. We got to stand up.
You got to stay wrong, ma'am.
That's right.
I don't know if she can stand up that very well.
He went there and got talked to by 4 at 12, and then 11 of them showed up at 6. That what it is. I'm tired of coon ass shit. I'm tired of it.
We got
I ain't
to
gonna
stand.
put up with it no more. Mexicans
You can-
kill Mexicans.
I like that she's calling for people to stand up. You can tell that she leads by example here. You know, she does that a lot.
Bring me some of that Kool-Aid spills, baby.
You know what? In the scene. Exactly. Come on, sister. She right. This is a war. This is a war. This is a war.
She's getting out of breath saying this is a war. It's a war.
What's been going on? They never stop being racist.
Ma'am.
This is not the dumbest of the dumb. We haven't gotten there yet.
Ma'am, I've said this story on this show before. When George Floyd and that whole situation happened, my dad, who and grandfather, who are not fans of people that aren't like me, they said, you know what, that was police brutality, and I find that disgusting that the police did that, and I think it's gross. And then all the riots happened, the Summer of Love happened, and they heard the chant of all lives matter, and they're like, you know what, I think I agree with that. And then they heard, well, no, only Black lives matter, and they went, you lost me.
Yeah.
You lost me, and
Because
then they quit caring about it.
That's when they basically, it's not a matter of being equal. It's a matter of we need to be on a pedestal.
Yeah,
that's
it's
essentially
victim mentality.
Yeah, we need to be on a pedestal because we're victims.
Mm-hmm.
But they're basically, I mean, we've never seen victims like them. I mean, they're the biggest victims ever.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us
Stop
to
stabbing people in the heart for getting shoved? Ma'am, that'd be
I don't know what.
the first thing I would ask you to do is probably not stab someone for a tussle, you know.
That's a thought, you know. Don't
That's
go
an
around
idea.
killing people.
Mhm.
That's a thought.
To do.
Yeah.
I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
Why not?
Why not? Carmelo Anthony could have walked away at any moment.
It could have.
He was asked not to be in that tent, that tent was not for him. And at any moment, he could have said, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, he could have. She doesn't know what to tell her 5 boys anymore. The first thing you tell him is like, maybe don't go around with knives.
Yeah, first thing, take any sort of weapon.
Don't take a
you
knife
have.
to a track meet.
Yeah, that's probably not necessary. That's
Like-
I would say that.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
at a freaking track meet, and why are you bringing a knife there in the first place? Maybe that's
Yeah,
maybe that's
you
what he's
got.
talking about.
The problem is though with everything that we've gone over tonight and everything that I know is that it wasn't like it was in his pocket or on his waistband. It was in his bag. So he had to make a conscious effort to get his bag, unzip his bag, pull out that knife, and then flip it open.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. There's a thought process going on there.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
like,
I might give him a little grace if it was like on his waist or in his pocket, you know, and he already felt
So
threatened.
you're saying it can't be passion because he's spending too much time contemplating.
Yeah. I carry a sling
That's what-
bag with concealed carry knives and guns, wherever I go. And for me to unzip that bag and go in there, I am already threatened in order to do that. It's a conscious effort for me to do that. It's not me just going, oh crap, and just doing it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I do. Malcolm Palm says there's a certain subsegment of society within a larger segment or group in our country that are devoutly racist. The majority of this certain group do not condone this behavior whatsoever. I'm going to get to people on the other side, Black people on the other side. I'm not just showing you, I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying, what I'm showing here as, this is a united front by Black people. There's a lot of very, very sane, intelligent Black people out there. I'm starting off by showing you the insane and down to the dumbest of the insane, which I'm coming up to that now. But you're correct that the majority of, and that's an interesting question as far as on the numbers, but I agree that, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and perhaps we're seeing them all over, and they get promoted because people see how crazy it is, and that's what people are gonna share out. Check locals to see Dominique. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. That's how you do it. You give me a link that's like 2 minutes long that I can do before we get. I was about to get to the dumbest one of them all, but we can do this.
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody at the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process, interfered in this process. But what this process did is shown that Black lives do not matter in Collin County. It showed us that time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. This trial showed that it put emotions over the law. After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names, it has shown us that Black life is not safe in Collin County.
Why? He was never threatened. That's the problem. If his life was threatened, he'd be a free man right now. If his life was threatened.
It showed us that they did not listen to the law.
Ridiculous.
It showed clearly that a judge interfered in this process.
How?
It showed very clearly that a Black boy was allowed not one Black soul on a jury. An all white jury.
Wrong.
Convicted him in 2 to 3 hours.
That's how bad the case was for him.
We know that they did not prove their case. They are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell.
See, he wants to raise money for his stupid group.
I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process. But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. We are. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpreters.
This is where we got it. This is where we had it earlier. So this, however, Jasmine Crockett, soon to be former House member Jasmine Crockett. We can wait till January for that. But here she is weighing in on Karmelo Anthony.
35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a Black person in this country, but just like you can give the benefit of the doubt to so many police officers when they go out and they shoot some Black unarmed person, even though they are trained, the fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this Black boy said that I was scared. 35 years.
Why is her eye trying to escape her head? I don't know
what this whole thing that's happening here. These fake eyelashes are very poorly applied. I think you can see this one sort of breaking off over here. It's not. That's not the way her eye is shaped.
You sure? You sure it's not her eye trying to run away?
This is. Well, we're gonna see a clip of her. You're gonna see this is her glowed up. Yeah. So yeah, this is he didn't want to be put on the reign. So like he was basically okay. Nothing he did there was wrong.
Mm-hmm. I think you know what? I think she's making a point. Solid point.
She got a lot
Stab
more.
Whitey.
She got a lot more on her mind. A lot more on her mind that she needs to share with you.
Also, I mean, can we just be real about this?
No.
Like, who was? I mean, like, why you rolling up on somebody and being like, "Get out"? Like, this is to me, this is the culture that is being instigated, mostly because of like you know, y'all know how we say on the internet, "Don't let your president get you fucked up," right? Like, because people
Exactly.
get. Oh,
I've never heard that. Never heard that once, ma'am.
That famous phrase that you've
Yeah.
never heard before in your life.
Ma'am, I live stream like 5 days, 6 days a week. I've
never heard
I'm
a single
technically
person.
terminally online, and I've never heard that once ever.
Never, ever. Yeah.
They get real bold with us right now, like, you know, and this whiteness.
They got real bold. This happened when Biden was president.
Ma'am, he
This
stabbed a kid.
This incident happened. Yeah, they got bold. Karmelo Anthony got bold.
Ma'am, he stabbed a kid. What do you? How much more bold can you be?
I'm pretty sure it was when Biden was president. Let me just.
Yeah, it was.
It was, right?
Mm-hmm.
What let me just
Watch me be completely wrong because I said that with such assertiveness. Yeah. Nope. Trump had just been sworn in.
Had he really?
No, I don't know. I'm just
That'd be
saying
really
that's the
funny.
way it normally works when I say something bold like that.
Yeah, it was April 2nd, 2025.
I told you. I knew it.
Nice.
Damn it. If I wouldn't have said that, the time would have changed. We would have went through a time. I'm telling you, we would have went through a time warp. She's saying the same thing Sin was saying about Obama. It's true.
That sucks.
Oh man.
Oh wow, good. Look at that. Knicks win.
Boo.
Woohoo! Go Knicks.
Nah, man. You're such a fair weather fan. Don't act like you're a Knicks fan.
I totally am. I was the last time. You know when I gave up seriously on the Knicks? John Starks 2 for 17.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. When John Starks went 2 for 17, I was like, done. I'm out against the Rockets. 2 for 17. I think that's the last Knicks game I ever watched. I watched a little bit.
Hold on, that was what, the 90s?
Yeah.
That's what, like,
yeah.
I loved basketball when I was a little kid. So I think that was like 95, 94. It was 94.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah. It's been a minute since I've been watching the Knicks. Jeremy Lin I watched a little bit of.
Mm-hmm.
He was exciting, but yeah. No, apparently they're really good. They're a game away from winning the finals. So
nice.
Go figure. Yeah.
In this replacement theory crap that they on and all of this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, we the victims because the fact.
I don't like the whole victim Olympics in general. I never called myself a victim in my life. I've never thought of myself as a victim. How pathetic a loser does someone have to be? I'm sorry. Any race you are, if you're looking at yourself as a victim, this is what you okay. I want to tell you, okay? I don't know you personally. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about your backstory. And there may be certain things in your life which sucked far worse than you. Look, one of you watching this video, one of you, we don't know, and you don't know if it's you, it may be you, but one of you has had the worst background out of the thousands of people, the worst upbringing, then the worst of things happen to you. Worse than everyone else who's watching this video.
It's obviously me.
It probably
it led me to streaming with Joe.
It probably is him.
So many bad decisions.
One of you has had the worst upbringing. And I'm telling you right now, you are not a victim. Yeah, you might have been victimized certain times in your life. You might have been bullied. You might have been a victim of assault. You might have had, different. you never, ever, ever, ever allow yourself to have a frame of mind that you are a victim. Because as soon as you do that, you come into this inescapable, what's paradoxical type of scenario where you will forever just insert yourself into that frame of reference, and that keeps you from ever rising above that tragic upbringing that you had. So these Democrats who are perpetually just going on and on and on about, we're the bigger victims. You think you're the big victims, like this crazy ass lunatic over here, this sicko, that all you're doing is perpetuating that the next generation should look at themselves as victims. You're not the victims, we're the real victims. And it's such a tragic desperation for, like, look at me, I'm such a victim, look at me, I'm such a victim. It's such a terrible mindset, because basically you spend the rest of your life looking for charity instead of actually having the self-satisfaction of overcoming those obstacles, overcoming those hurdles, and using them to make yourself into a better person. Never allow others to frame you as a victim. Yeah, a situation or a moment you've gone through, you may have been a victim, but that doesn't define who you are. Henry Ford, who is a terrible individual person. So many terrible traits about Henry Ford. I can't even begin to describe them.
Well, there's only one that you really dislike. Come on.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, he didn't just hate Jews. He hated anyone who wasn't white. He was a crazy racist, the dude. But the reality is, there are a few. That doesn't mean that he didn't have intellect. And part of what he was once asked, what would you do if you became poor? And he said, I will never, ever be poor. I may go broke, but I will never be poor. Think about that statement for a moment. He's saying, look, even if I lose all my money and I go broke, I am still going to fight my way back up the mountain. I'm going to keep fighting my way up the mountain. Fight, fight, fight. That's what the entire human condition is about. It's about fighting against the elements, fighting against all the obstacles and challenges, and rising up above that. People think that when I make that whole thing about the following and the following program, and it's a group of like-minded individuals seeking greater personal growth. This is the personal growth that I'm actually when I coined that. It's moments like this that I feel it's important for me to share with you, that you should never, ever, ever think of yourself the way this crazy woman thinks of herself and wants other people to think of herself. This person who calls herself a leader wants people to look at themselves as a victim. Who can win the Victim Olympics? This is disastrous. This is exactly why the Black community struggles to pull out of itself, because this is their leadership. This is the insight. This is the intelligent ones. This is the Houston law graduate. She's an attorney, this crazy woman, and she's like sitting here engaging in like, no, you didn't pass us in the whole Victim Olympics. We're still winning the race there. Don't think that you're winning. We're way ahead of you. Pathetic. But the reason why I continually bang home about greater personal growth is because you need to understand and look how you look at yourself. The same way Henry Ford would never look at himself as being poor. Never, ever, ever look at yourself that you are defined as being a victim. You might have moments that you're a victim. You might have moments that you struggle. You might have moments that you got really like screwed over by one or several people or a system that's designed to screw you over. That could happen, but you never think of yourself as a victim. It's terrible. This woman is worst.
Yeah, I mean, it's a victim mentality, I think, is a learned behavior. I really do. And so, like,
of course it is.
How do you eventually, generation after generation has to outdo the previous generation? So that's how you end up with a Karmelo Anthony, I think. That kid, you saw in that video, he was standing in front of a Mercedes that obviously looked like it was bought for him for his birthday or Christmas or something like that.
I mean, we don't know if it's his Mercedes or some friend of his.
I mean, they seemed pretty well off.
Could be. I mean, yeah, his grandmother is driving a brand new car. I don't know if she just got that now, from the money, or I don't know if she had that from before. But yeah.
The fact that, any kid would feel like it makes sense to walk in and see this particular kid. I mean, we've all interpreted that there was a race component to this.
That's your own self-perception also. That it's like your race is defining you. That's another pathetic mindset. That your race is defining who you are. Did Clarence Thomas allow his race to define who he was?
Never, not once.
No. In fact, he spits on people who try to look at him as a black judge. Like he hates that.
He got him a beautiful big white woman too.
No, but he defined himself as someone like he hated DEI because he's like it's DEI that makes people look at me like I'm a black judge.
Yeah, when I see him as a judge. I don't see him as a black judge.
Right. I mean, how can anyone possibly respect, KBJ, Ketanji Brown Jackson? How can anyone possibly respect her when she got that job after Biden got up there and said, I'm giving it to a black woman? It's like you got it because you're melanin and your ovaries. And every decision she issues is another reminder of that because she happens to be utterly incompetent. And there are plenty of very, very intelligent black women out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. He could have actually found a highly qualified black female justice. He just decided that he's going to go with some crazy woke leftist who thinks that she's supposed to implement her personal beliefs on every decision that she issues, and she's proud of saying that out loud. But the point that I'm making is you cannot allow others to define you, and the more we try to do that to people, the more we dehumanize them, and the less we are helping them, the more we are actually harming them. And this woman harmed society. Terrible, terrible person. Oh my God, Jasmine Crockett. Can't stand it.
And be like, oh yeah, it's raining, but get out. Like why?
Exactly.
Also,
because you're from a different team, obviously. You think there were no black people in there? Sure, the black people in the tent. Idiots.
It's a track meet. Obviously, there's black people there, Joe.
Yeah,
probably
seriously.
selling Kool-Aid spears, but that's neither here nor there.
There's more of this idiot and her crew of cronies.
The bleachers after, and it only took one stab. I think everybody needs to understand it was not like it was multiple
so
times.
these are the facts
That doesn't matter.
Oh my
God!
Correct.
And look at this.
That
Look at this.
black baby just stabbed that boy one time. It wasn't
Just
vicious.
one stab.
I mean, he just murdered him in like 0.3 seconds.
It's just one stab.
He
Just
could have
one.
stabbed him again,
Yeah,
but
everyone's saying everyone's thinking it's multiple stabs. No, it's just one.
it was just one. It was no big deal. I mean, that baby had a weak heart. I mean,
Look at this idiot bobblehead down here.
I can't believe this.
This moron saying one. This bobblehead over here. I mean, this is just.
So these are the facts that really should have been
honed in on.
Yeah,
correct.
they should have really
Because
honed in on that.
Those are the ways that you look at intent, right? Like
the bleachers.
Right. Yeah. This is the attorney Jasmine Crockett breaking it down for you.
So ridiculous. It's insanity to me.
I actually responded to this one. Folks need to realize that it's only one knee on a neck, not both.
Yeah, not
knees.
both knees. I mean, what are you?
These are the things that really
you know
should be
what?
on
You're right. You're right, white man. He could have put both knees on that man's neck.
Yeah, people.
We burned the whole country down over one knee. Now you're burning it over a jury that found a guy guilty for stabbing a kid.
Here's
your logic, the logic of this.
Here's what's it called? Here's her basically saying how he had every right to do what he did.
If a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not limited to fist.
No, you're not.
I would argue
For her, it might be death.
Exactly. At that point, you're not.
Right.
That is you. I'm speechless.
By the way, he was 213 pounds, not 300 pounds. He was 213 pounds.
Austin Metcalf was?
Yeah.
How big was Karmelo Anthony?
He's probably smaller. But that doesn't. I mean, Karmelo, he didn't look like a big guy, right? Karmelo Anthony. But
I mean, black is slimming, so I don't know.
that even
I know what.
So Karmelo Anthony, teenager, is 17-year-old. He was 5'9" and weighing about 130 pounds. Karmelo Anthony, teenager.
Sorry. Yeah, go on. I was checking how we're doing on the goal.
Yeah, 5'9" and 130 pounds is what they said. And
5'9", 130.
Austin
So
Metcalf was
he's
6 feet,
considerably
200.
smaller. Yeah, he's considerably smaller. So,
time we go into things like people's hands being considered deadly weapons, it's typically like
mine are
a boxer or that kind of stuff. But I think
because I'm
by
retarded.
the time you start getting to like football player, good argument. Good freaking argument.
But no,
no,
not when the guy just gives you like a shove on your shoulder. It's not. It's not. It has to be objectively and subjectively reasonable, objective and subjective fear of imminent death or serious bodily harm. So no, it's not a good argument. So to this airhead, it's a good argument.
Not talking about like the golfers. We're talking about football players, right? Like this is what they are trained to do, is to inflict like serious physical.
He was also an athlete, though.
And
Ma'am, your argument is null and void there because he was also an athlete. He was also a track star, and I do believe a football player.
I think he was track. I don't know if he was football, but okay, fine. To try and give whatever possible benefit of the doubt we can to the line of thinking, he's 80 pounds lighter, 70 pounds lighter.
70 pounds lighter, but yeah.
70 pounds lighter.
I'll go with you on that one. Fine.
So, but the point is, that doesn't mean that anytime someone bigger than you gives you a shove, you can kill them. I mean, think of how stupid. Think of how stupid what she's saying is. It doesn't, because the same right that he has to take that knife and stab him in the heart is the same right he would have had to take out a gun and point it at his head and pull the trigger.
Do you think so?
Who the hell thinks that 100? I'm gonna just finish my point. Then who the hell thinks that if a 213-pound kid who's 6'1", right, a much bigger kid, gives a shove, that gives the person a right to pull out a gun and blow his brains out? Would anyone think such a thing is like a logical argument? But Jasmine Crockett is like, oh yeah, no, that's really good. That's a really good way to go right there. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, the example she gave is it's outlandish because you're talking about one, a man versus a woman, two, a 300-pound man versus a woman, and Jasmine Crockett doesn't seem like a very large lady, so that's a wild analogy for you to use. Now, if you were talking about maybe that black lady earlier that was breathing heavy, trying to give her speech about standing up, maybe that would work. But this one, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I will say this. People are saying that clip we just saw is basically a statement that she would have killed Austin Metcalf in this scenario, right?
Exactly.
And some people are saying that like this is a cause to like see if you can have her disbarred. This is I don't think that that's a fair. On it, to be fair, as stupid as she is, there's probably a lot better bases to have her disbarred. This woman. Listen to this woman making a claim saying that she'd be disbarred for making that statement.
In the state of Texas for what Jasmine Crockett could be disbarred in the state of Texas for what she just said. I say that we all get a hold of Texas, get a hold of them, the disciplinary board, and let them know. Jasmine Crockett suggests she would also have stabbed Austin Metcalf in stunning defense of Karmelo Anthony. I sure hope Karmelo Anthony was worth it. See, all of us are sick of your toxic rhetoric, and
I'm clearly very sick of her toxic rhetoric also, but that's not exactly what she said. She said if she was there, this guy's a much bigger guy than her, like whatever. I mean, she has to be an idiot, but to say it should be disbarred for like issuing such a stupid statement, that's
spreading this sort of narrative because it's leading to violence. We're seeing it in real time all over the internet. So I say, if she's making public statements like this that even news organizations are picking up, why don't we all call the disciplinary board in Texas? Because best case scenario, she's publicly reprimanded, which, I mean, that would be fun to watch. Worst case, they go ahead and disbar her. She shouldn't be defending anybody if she clearly has a problem with people who look like this. I think that Jasmine Crockett has no business having any sort of professional licensing. What about you?
I mean, come on
in
now.
the comments. Jasmine Crockett.
So yeah. So
I think we ought to stab Jasmine is what she's basically saying. Stop. You're doing the same thing they're saying. Stop it.
Yeah, let's all just dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's just dial it back a little bit. Yeah. We have one more clip of Jasmine Crockett just talking about the life of a Black woman. The hardships of being a Black woman in America today. The hardships of being a Black woman in America today.
Oh man.
Black women, especially Black women who have Black male children, live
child.
fear and agony every single day. A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way. And we're gonna have to have just some real conversations about race in this country.
Yeah, I think we should. Actually.
Life is so hard for Black women.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should have that
uniquely in this
conversation.
country, not any other country. It's easier in any other country than here. Apparently.
And Austin Metcalf, baby, he didn't know how to be a Black woman. He just didn't understand. You know, we wear shoes that are too small. We got what I've seen it so many times at my local Walmart. It's insane. It's a trend.
It's a trend.
I'm telling you, it's a trend, Joe. You're not a man of the people like me, okay? You stay within your little your kosher circle that you have, like the little line that's around your neighborhood. You don't travel outside of it. So you don't see what I see. You're not in the Rumble chat like I am, you know?
It's so true. It's so true.
You're not a man of the people, Joe.
Not a man of the
You're
people.
in your ivory tower.
My
never
ivory tower.
Never had to be spend a day as a Black woman like I have.
Speaking of the ghetto, Hans Wumpak says, for the most part, I don't care about the GoFundMe as the funds are freely given. In this case, it said it was not only for defense, but also bail and security with no need to move. So also he says, I think the stab and push was same action. It was not push then stab at the same time. Hans Wumpak says they have imperfect self-defense in Texas that could have lowered the penalty. That is why they should have put him on the stand so he could explain his fear, his regret, cry, and show good character. I think he probably said that before I did.
Mm-hmm.
Also, many times, jury will not give self-defense if you do not testify. This was why Rittenhouse went on the stand. And his attorney there said that you're not going to win in Minnesota. So I don't know how it is in Texas, but it makes sense. Sin hangs out. He also says sin hangs out in Black X way too much. It does not make you Black Sin as hard as you're trying.
I am in a community on X that's called the real N-words, and you have to be Black to be in it. And then I asked to be in it, and they let me in it. It's called the Real N-word Nation. I swear, it's great. It's the best part. I love going there and just reading what they. That's how I found out about the Kool-Aid pineapple spears.
Nice. Nice, and you bring it all here.
You bring culture.
You bring culture. Yeah, I got some more chats over on YouTube, but I'm gonna get to them in a moment. First, I want to close out Jasmine Crockett with this. Is in case you're wondering, how did this woman become an attorney? Well, we have the story of how she became an attorney. You want to hear the story?
Getting a decoder ring out of a cereal box.
Or more specifically, she's detailed why she became an attorney.
Yeah.
I had a great background as it relates to my ability to deal with numbers, and it was going to pay well. So I was like, I'll be an accountant. Unfortunately, around my junior year, I was the victim of a hate crime or two. And so were a group of my friends all at the same time. Cars were keyed with the N-word. We received hate mail in our on-campus mailboxes. And at that time, my school hired the Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me. And it was the first time in my life that I felt helpless. And I was like, I want to help people that are going through what I've just experienced. And at that point in time, I decided that I was going to sit for the LSAT.
So the reason she became, so break it down for us. Were you paying attention or were you zoned out?
I was zoned out.
All right. So she basically said the reason she became an attorney is because she had been a victim of a hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw some attorney who inspired her. That's what she said. And she's
That
like,
was in 2019 when she said that. That was her excuse for.
That was her explanation as to why she ended up going to law school.
Okay.
Look how different she looks.
That's not much of a glow up, honey. That's just a weave and some lashes.
When I said that's her version of a glow up, I'm just saying. I mean, like you can see the makeup, and I mean,
She obviously doesn't have a winery like others in Congress.
Fair enough. When I say glowed up, I mean literally putting sparkles on her eyes. Like she's working in some club or something like that. So, yeah. Well, anyhow, anyway, she got inspired after she suffered from some hate crimes that no one can ever find the hate crimes.
She's never explained the hate crime either. It's just
no. We don't know anything about that.
It's just a basic hate crime, is what she said.
It was. She said cars were keyed with swastikas or something. Yeah.
Swastikas? Is that what she said?
Swastikas. I'm just saying what she said. So, 2025. This is her explanation.
I did Little Shop of Horrors. So when I was in college at Rhodes in Memphis, I ended up doing Little Shop of Horrors.
What part did you play in that?
I was one of the women that was singing.
Okay.
Yes, I was in the chorus.
Okay.
And so I ended up doing it, and the mock trial coach recruited me to do mock trial. And I was like, no. By this time, I decided I was going to be an accountant. Didn't want to do anesthesia no more. Still didn't want to talk to people. So then he goes, no, you should do mock trial. And I said, that's for the kids going to law school. Long story short, he recruits me. I do mock trial just my senior year. I become a national All-American. He says, you should go to law school. So I applied, got a full ride, and said, fine, if I don't like it, I'll quit.
Where'd the hate crime go?
Maybe the hate crime was having to listen to her sing in Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know.
You know what? That was a hate crime she inflicted on others. That's what I think.
Nothing she says.
What's the statute of limitations on hate crimes? Theater hate crimes.
It's almost like you said, do you want to know how I got these scars?
Look here, baby. Want to know how I got these scars?
You want to know how I got these scars?
She played a witness in mock trial.
Just depends on who she's talking to. The story comes out a little different every time.
She played the criminal that stole a bicycle in the mock trial chat. Don't let her trick you.
So that's Jasmine Crockett right there.
I think she's great.
Not everyone who's I promised I was going to give some examples of people who were normal. Okay. So, black people who have a normal take. This is Wesley
you
Hunt.
Done the normal takes first, because now you've got me full into making joke mode. And now how am I supposed to take rational black people seriously, Joe? You front loaded the segment. What did you do this for?
Wesley Hunt saying, hey, Jasmine, black pilot here. I think you missed the plot. Then again, that's becoming a pattern. I graduated from West Point, went through Army flight school, learned to fly the AH-64 Apache, deployed to combat, flew 55 combat missions over Baghdad. Nobody handed me a cockpit because of my skin color. Nobody lowered the standards for me. Nobody looked at me and said, let's check a diversity box. That's what people like you don't seem to understand. This is in response to her saying over here about this is in response to her idiocy.
Yeah,
where she's
counterpoint.
Yeah,
he's an Uncle Tom. Now what? Now what are you gonna do?
This is where she's talking about how diversity is so essential.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Does that sound like a hater or not?
That sounds like a racial stereotype.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I had a previous colleague that talked about.
This is Wesley Hunt. This is the guy who's writing. This is the guy this guy who wrote the tweet that we were reading.
Yeah.
Black pilot and what that would mean to Charlie Kirk's comments. And it's funny, black pilot here, by the way. I actually went to flight school, West Point graduate, learned how to fly the Apache helicopter, went to flight school in 2005. You see, there was no DEI. We just simply competed with everyone else, and I was selected, fought in combat, went on to fly 55 combat air missions, and nobody gave a damn what I looked like because I got there on merit.
Because that was 2005.
He really
it's
has
before
Carlton
2008.
Mm-hmm.
He does
It's
have a
Carlton
Carlton
Banks
Banks
vibes.
energy. He has
Yeah.
a Carlton Banks energy.
It's really. I'm waiting for him to start dancing to.
It's not unusual.
Yeah. There you go. You got it. I'm waiting for it. Yeah, but no, you're right. It was 2005. Nobody cared. Nobody looked
That's
at you.
why.
Nobody thought about that.
That's why.
DEI does is it lowers standards based on race and based on gender.
If I see a black
So he's like, yeah, you suck, and you basically are making society suck. The point is, yeah, here's Reverend Jordan Wells saying, I'm black man, proud conservative follower of Jesus. When I see protesters outside the Collin County Courthouse chanting F white lives after Karmelo Anthony's sentencing for murdering Austin Metcalf, my soul grieves. This isn't justice. This isn't community. This is demonic hatred. Plain and simple. All lives are made in the image of God. Every single one, black, white, brown, doesn't matter. Celebrating the loss of any innocent life or cheering on evil because the skin color is straight from the pit of hell. And here's the truth they don't want you to say out loud. When black conservatives, Christians, or truth tellers like me call this out, we get labeled traitors, Uncle Toms, or betrayers of community. See?
I knew it. It happens every time. You just a coon or Uncle Tom. Come on, man.
Let them talk. I'd rather be disliked by some in my own community than stand before a holy God and be found guilty of excusing evil, hating my neighbor, or twisting justice for racial points. My allegiance is Jesus first, not color, not tribe, not political pressure. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Isaiah 5:20. I choose truth over tribe, light over darkness, God over man. Who else is tired of the hate? There you go. There you go. He's responding to like this idiocy.
I'm saying that because y'all want to play. My life don't matter. Man, fuck white lives. How about that? How about that? I'm saying that.
How about that?
These games, y'all want to play these crackhead games, so I'm gonna play them. Fuck white lives. How about that?
How about that?
I hate the white people. I like pussy. The hunky, the crackheads, redneck pussy.
Yeah, so that's what he was responding to. My point is, you know, there's plenty of people out there who actually have sanity.
Agreed.
Here's a black woman.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What y'all doing? So we all heard the verdict that Karmelo Anthony was found guilty today. And as usual, some black people are upset.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for words. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more.
If you have 5 boys, I'm going to tell you what to tell them, okay? I'm going to tell you. Tell them to put down the knives, okay? Tell them to put down the pews, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to leave people the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them if they take somebody's life, they will go to jail for the rest of their lives, okay?
Yeah.
Tell them to talk it out, okay? Whatever anger or whatever chip they have on their shoulder about anything or anybody, tell them to talk their feelings out. Or go get a fucking counselor, not off somebody. Because I know if it was my son, that's your son, unalive, I would want him under the ground, okay? And there is a stupid and embarrassing part about all of this, okay? His raggedy ass family raised all that money for that boy for his trial. And you know what the fuck they did? They went out and bought a home, cars, material shit while your son is sitting on trial for murder.
Kool-Aid spill.
So that tells you the parents was fucked up too. They didn't give a damn about their son. They didn't even give a damn about him giving that money to a defense team to try to defend him. No, he got a public defender. And they took that money and took it to the housing and cars and maybe jury and stupid shit. So even if he was trying to claim self-defense, it wasn't going to work anyway. Your parents fucked you over. Now both of y'all gone. What a tragedy, just because of your dumb decisions and you couldn't be a man to talk it out or just to leave somebody to fuck alone. And the moral of the story is, for all the parents that's out there with their raggedy ass kids going rampant, going crazy, outside, acting like they don't got no home training, get your motherfucking kids in check, okay? Because if it would have happened to mine, God forbid, because I can't even say what I do on this phone, okay? So get y'all raggedy ass kids in check, okay?
There you go.
Yeah,
I told you. There's a bunch of sane ones out there. There's a bunch of sane ones. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing here, but
Guilty, as he should. As he should. Over the incident that happened more than a year ago of him stabbing that boy at that Frisco track meet. Let me be very clear, people. First off, that family raised over $600,000 damn dollars that was supposed to be the main purpose to the boy attorney fees. They gave this boy a public defender. You want to know why, in my humble opinion? Because his family, his parents looked at that situation, knew exactly that that boy had no chance at all. So what they did was they went to go spend the money on damn houses and materialistic things such as dodo brain black people do. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, buddy.
And I will say this. I mean, just if they know he's going to get fried anyway, that he's going to get convicted, maybe that's why they're like, let's say the 700,000. They're like, he's got no chance. If you want to try and give the parents the benefit of the doubt. But I think a better attorney may have gotten him under 35 years.
Yeah, they weren't going to do that though. How much do you think a trial like that would actually cost though? Because I said
I think $500,000 easy. I think $500,000 I think easy. Yeah, I mean it depends. Look, first obviously it depends on the hourly.
Mm-hmm. Whatever happened to all those like lawyers that come out for every time a black man didn't do nothing? And they come and they do the stuff for free, and then they sue the city for the trials and all that stuff. Like, whatever happened to all those guys?
So when you're talking that they're the victim, in that case, they figure they're going to get a contingency when they're suing in the civil suits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that's where the money is. There's no money in the
trial.
criminal defense. There's no money in criminal defense unless you're getting paid.
Yeah, but you got to get him off to get to the civil suit.
No, but the civil suit comes when you're the victim and you're the plaintiff. You know what I'm saying? You're not being prosecuted. So like in a situation where let's assume that the roles were reversed here and Karmelo had been stabbed. That's where they would be coming out. Like we saw with Floyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but this is not a circumstance where there's money to be made in representing, unless it's part of the grift, the way you saw with Dominique Alexander there, where he's basically like, send me money because I'm sending money. I sent $10,000 in, so I need to raise 100,000 because I sent 10,000 to the family. You know, that grift. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's why you don't see big name attorneys. For criminal defense, they're gonna be charging a lot of money. Now, the levels that they charge will vary significantly depending on the jurisdiction. If you're in New York, it's gonna be much more expensive, or LA, it's gonna be much more expensive than if you're in the Midwest or Texas or something like that, where you're talking about the hourly rates, right? But you're talking potentially thousands of hours. So if you just think about it for a second, okay? You know, a decent attorney in Texas is going to be charging a really good attorney. Let's put it this way, okay? I'll give you some idea, okay? As far as on numbers, all right? So, depending on the level of experience and success that they've had, you're going to be talking a decent attorney. I think is with any kind of experience is going to be talking a minimum of $500 an hour.
Jesus, you guys are con, man.
And I'll tell you that.
And I don't mean lawyers.
And I'll tell you that often it can be twice that, 3 times that. So if you're talking about, like, you know, the creme de la creme, it's going to be 3 to 4 times that. So now ask yourself, how many hours do you think that they put into a trial like this? And I'll tell you, just the trial prep alone. The trial prep alone is going to be a couple hundred hours. And that doesn't include the stuff beforehand, doesn't include the stuff afterwards, or the trial itself. So if you're racking up 700, 800 hours, you can start to see how this quickly can become $1 million defense, $2 million defense. And plus, by the way, I'm just talking about one lawyer. What if we have a team of lawyers? What if there's a whole lot of investigation you have to do, send people out to interview people, talk to people? Now, I don't know that you would invest all that in a case like this where it's like, every person coming back is, I guess maybe actually if you're really desperate to try and save him, let's imagine this kid came from money and parents who actually, cared about trying to save him. So in that case, in theory, you could try talking to every single person who was there, find someone who's going to say something remotely positive that will help you out.
Mm-hmm.
But the money it accrues very quickly. Normally, you're going to need a team of lawyers, not just one, and it's going to be, the hours start adding up really quickly. Then you have a couple of lawyers sitting there for trial. Every hour of trial is costing you $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, think about that for a moment.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, justice is expensive. That's just the reality of America. So, I also had one or two more of these clips, and then we're going to wrap up this segment here.
I'm a lawyer. It's my profession. I truly believe in it. I think the law worked here. I'm also a law professor, and I teach my students that you have to look at individual cases. Texas has a stand your ground law where he's not required to leave that tent, even if it's not, sportsmanlike to be there. But you still can't take an escalation. You can't turn a shove into a stabbing, and that's what the jury saw here. He still gets the benefit of the law, like stand your ground, like self-defense, but the jury just rejected it because they said he escalated too much. But we have to really pay attention to the facts of this case, and I think in this case, the jury got it right.
Yeah. And my point in sharing this is to tell you that there are plenty of intelligent Black attorneys. They're not, and who can look at something objectively. My question for you is, do you think this guy or Jasmine Crockett of the world, the Dominique Alexanders of the world, what do you think the numbers are like as far as in the Black community? Do you think that there's a majority there? We heard earlier from I think I skipped a whole bunch of
from my personal experience, there's way more Jasmine Crockett's.
Him saying the majority of certain groups do not condone this behavior whatsoever. So, and I think that Malcolm was making a fair point here. I am going to ask them. I'm going to make a poll because I haven't done a poll in a while. So let's put a poll up here real quick. And that is, do you think, we got 13 out of 15 is what I'm seeing the number here when I'm looking at YouTube. I'm going to count.
Yeah, just most of my stuff would come from like anecdotal experience, but from what I know, and I can give you an example of a friend of mine I grew up with, that it was an aunt, a mom, and two sisters living together, and the only one that was like that last gentleman we just heard speak was one girl, and the rest of them were more like Jasmine Crockett when it came to situations. It was baffling, and they all lived in the same house. They all had the same day-to-day experiences. They all had a lot of the same friends, and it's I don't know what the difference was, to be honest with you.
A majority.
Joe's always wanting to do polls, chat.
I do love doing polls, like Jasmine Crockett. I'll have a bunch of Crockett's.
How many Crockett's compared to normal folk?
I don't have it. Impossible to have a clue. You think I should add anything else? I said, when it comes to racial tensions, a majority of Black people like Jasmine Crockett, or they're sane.
I think that's it. I don't think you need any more.
So my question is, but my options are a bunch of Crockett's, sane, silent majority, and then I have impossible to have a clue. So is a fourth option or anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's it. I think you got it.
All right. Well, and I'll check over in the ghetto, see if they come up with anything. See if they have anything here at all. Hands One Pack says, I bet that's one of the fake hate campus crimes. He's talking about Jasmine Crockett's backstory being one of the fake crimes. I have a whole bunch of chats I need to get to in
Yeah, you just ignore the ghetto all the time. Like I'm watching.
No, I'm talking about YouTube.
Screen.
I ignored YouTube. So let me go through them in order. It's okay for them to have threats, but when Jake Lang made some threats about the Anthony case, he was arrested and given a $1 million bail. Yeah. Yeah. Not surprising. Not surprising. It's we live in a two-tiered system of justice. It's just tilted in the opposite way. And I'm not saying that as that's just the reality. That's just the reality. You gotta deal with it. You need to recognize that. If you think the Kool-Aid Spears thing is crazy, look up Hot Cheetos Boudin balls.
Boudin balls, yeah.
They're buying and even stealing Cheetos by the case and truckload to make and sell. Stores by me now keep them locked.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. Yes. It's a beautiful culture.
So much legal nuance goes unregistered. I lose patience and hope every day. Don't, because I'm still here and I make a living.
That's why he does his manifesto. Don't worry about it, chat.
I wasn't on the defensive at all, Malcolm. I appreciated your comment. I even went back to it. But thank you for the follow-up. I know you, Malcolm. I knew it was in good faith. Joe, are you a lawyer that can be found on the internet, or a lawyer that can dispute due transfers of internet IP addresses and domain names? What? I don't get the joke. Do you get the joke?
No, I don't get the joke. Thank you, though.
Oh, I was asking if I'm an internet lawyer. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what that. It's been a minute since that chat came in a long time ago.
Wow.
It sentenced you for 35 years for cultural appropriation if they could, 100%. Jasmine Crockett, queen of the wild frontier. Joe, that's my hometown girl. Watch yourself. Yeah, watch yourself. I don't know if she's saying watch yourself because that's my name, or he's saying watch yourself. But either way, it works. So, JH, Joe, Karmelo Anthony's mom is a stay-at-home mom. His dad worked past tense Ford Chrysler dealership. Now, cash aid, Section 8 food stamps. Prove me wrong. Nothing on the internet shows different. I can't. I'm not even gonna try. The Knicks came back from 29 down. Go
wow.
Nice. Impressive. Tell Trump to not have the Secret Service pew us. We're just tunneling to watch the UFC on the White House lawn. They're trigger happy lately. That's pretty funny. You're right, Joe. Being carjacked by two black men does not make me a victim. Nor having my car stolen a few weeks later was simply an experience. For me, never about race. Life's an adventure. What I'm saying is you can be a victim in a moment. Don't look at yourself. You are a victim. The claim is that it's in their culture to go stabby on people, that's not a viable claim. I know that's what they say, but that's ridiculous. Remember they wanted to prosecute that cop who shot a girl, was trying to stab another, and nearly rioted. Yeah, you remember that situation where that guy was like Batman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He had like
that was forever ago.
Shot. That was, yeah. But, yeah, it's true. Please tell me you have more other stuff. And is that goal? Well, I'm going to count this one toward the goal because this was supposed to be, I don't know, a super sticker. I don't know. I never know why the $10 ones would come up green. But, yeah, I'm going to count that towards the goal. Joe Boo, my Joe dog. I don't believe the Anthony family bought $1 million home. News reports said they rented it. Sin can run a little title search and show who the legal owner is. You're paying their rent. It's probably true.
If they're in Texas, I don't have a reciprocal license. I mean, you could do a basic title search. It would be pretty easy, but I would need their full first and last names. I mean,
so you're useless, basically. The whole realtor background, useless.
Also, I mean, it's, the whole morals clause about doing that for YouTube.
Oh, is
shenanigans.
There? Is there? There's that also?
I mean, I could do a basic one, but if I got into the multiple listing system and done it, I could probably get into a little shenanigans. I might get a little Repercussion, probably not. But I don't want to lose that license or be in trouble. I'm a good boy.
Very good boy. Do you know? And in case you think life has been like just a gravy train for the Metcalfs,
yeah.
Aside from the death of their son, Austin Metcalf's father was swatted 6 times.
He deserved it though. Austin pushed that innocent kid.
Austin Metcalf's mother was swatted 2 times. They had to keep all this under a gag order.
Also deserved. They raised a white kid. They should have never done that.
It's unbelievable.
They should have raised the white kid, Joe. They knew what they were doing like 17 years ago. They both knew they were white, and they both had a white kid.
Yeah. What were you? What the hell were you even thinking?
Yeah, it's your fault. You should have never done it. Imagine swatting someone because your son got murdered at a track meet.
Imagine being any of the people involved in this exchange right here. Yeah, watch this. This was after the verdict.
I prefer not to.
Imagine being any of the people involved in this.
I can smell the Swisher Sweet and marijuana from here. What are you talking about?
This is in This is in Florida. So it's like what, 1,000 miles from Dallas, where the trial was. 1,000 miles from the trial. This is what's happening.
Hey, weren't you on jury selection?
No, he wasn't. No,
oh shit!
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He was on jury selection.
He's a vet, dude. He's
Oh.
a vet. He's a vet. He ain't been on jury selection.
I ain't worried about
right?
that.
Fuck you.
You gonna die.
Quit, dude.
You on jury? When you on jury?
No, he wasn't.
Bet he stole that bicycle.
He thinks that he was on the Karmelo Anthony jury.
Wait, how?
That's why I said, imagine being any of the people in this exchange. And they're saying, no, he wasn't. He wasn't on.
That doesn't make any sense. Wait, hold up. Did this happen in Texas? Am I crazy? Did I go through a time loop?
It's insanity.
Selection. You was on jury selection.
Bet he sold that bike though, for real.
Oh, not for Anthony. Not for Karmelo Anthony. Oh,
my bad.
I thought you was on jurisdiction for.
He literally said my B. Come on, bro. My B.
What?
Yeah, that's on me, player. I didn't mean to, dog. I thought, you know what I'm saying.
He's on the prowl. He's on the prowl. If you're in the jury, watch out for this guy.
Yeah, if you're in Florida, it's so
unbelievable.
Far away.
Unbelievable.
Jacksonville is so far away from this happening. God, man.
Talk about the sense of entitlement.
You know, they're basically they're right next to each other across the Gulf. They're pretty much the same place. There's just a big lake in between them. That's all. So stupid. Oh, my bad. On his bike. I can't, man.
And we're done with Jasmine Crockett, but we're not done with this member of the House.
Oh, God. Now are we going to?
We're not done with this member of the House. She got thoughts also about the state of the world today.
As they are playing psychological warfare with us. They are hell-bent on beating us down to our face and then telling us that, we're the ones who are crazy. And we got to fight back against this. So you know what? I have just not engaged in that topic of them trying to give like insurrectionists some dollars, because we got to control the things that we can control. And they want Black folks to feel like they're poking, like that they're knocking the wind out of us, right? That's what they need us to feel that way. Because if we feel empowered, if we feel like we have even a tiny bit of momentum, then they know that we have enough power to do damage.
Do damage.
Tons of it.
Yeah, we have power to do damage. I don't know what the hell she's even talking about.
She's just saying words.
I have no idea what damage she's even thinking.
I haven't comprehended anything she said. I'm focusing on what she's saying.
All right, focus. There's more here. We're a quarter of the way through.
All right,
okay?
we'll have a test afterwards.
Good trouble damage or whatever.
Okay.
One more time. What was it? Let's not miss a word here.
That we have enough power to do damage.
Uh-huh.
Positive damage, good trouble damage, or whatever.
Good trouble. That's it.
Good trouble. But
Yeah, baby.
absurd, and that's what they do, because again, they're trying to disenfranchise you. Because if you believe that you're never going to get reparations from this system, then you tap out. And you don't just tap out of the conversation. You tap out of the
Reparations.
system. You don't want to vote anymore.
Okay.
You don't participate anymore, and they know that that's how they don't just control Congress.
Because black people only vote because they're expecting they're eventually going to get reparations. So if you don't think you're going to get reparations, you're not going to vote anymore. What?
Why be a part of the system? You know.
If we're not going to get reparations, why even vote?
Be a conscientious dissenter. Then at that point, yeah.
I have no expectation of ever getting reparations, and I vote. But apparently, if you're a black person, if you don't think you're getting reparations, why the hell would you vote?
I mean.
Chris, that's how they can get your school boards, your board of supervisors. They want us that far out of the system. So right now, we fight for reparations because it's owed us. It is owed
right.
us. So we're not going to back down on that one way or another. I'm not shocked that my colleagues are not on it, that Democratic colleagues aren't on it. Again, there is a level of comfort in this building that sustains people. And I know that the people who don't want reparations back a lot of my colleagues, Democrat and otherwise. I'm not shocked. But it is why we have to keep people that encouraged. So we have to, it's not that we have to cancel out the news when they're doing shit like that.
Man,
we can't cancel out the news. Like, we got to live in reality. But we have to counterbalance that with our plan, our organizing plan, with how we're going to build this coalition, who we're working with to move the needle on this. And I think that our time is really well spent there.
So thoughts?
That was just a bunch of words.
That was just a bunch of words. I have no idea what the hell she's
That was just a whole bunch of words. I have no clue what she was even talking about other than reparations. And then she started talking about a lot of guys that don't back reparations, support her. My brain hurts, Joe. Why?
Well, sharpen your brain up, because Jim tells you, says, here's the goal. No sleep for you. Go 50% free. It's a bargain. It's a bargain.
I speak jive fluently, okay?
All right. Well done. I just want to thank you all for helping us hit tonight's goal. We have hit the goal. Yeah, and you all made it possible. So God bless you.
Did a good job, chap. Thank you.
Indeed. As they often do.
I don't know why I thank you. I just get dragged through another hour, but thank you, chat.
Yeah, didn't know jury selection was Owens public. It's crazy. It's
Oh, Patrick T, good to see you. How's your terrible trailer?
I don't know. But when I called, when I texted my co-host here tonight, when we were talking about the show, as we move on from the Karmelo Anthony thing. So I said I got a bunch of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of things to talk about.
So if this segment flops, you're just now kneecapping me. You're just that's what you're gonna do. It was just an idea, Joe. Man, like, you're always doing this. I wonder why, like, I feel so heavy on this stream. And it's because all the sandbags you tie to me.
So this was our exchange over here, in case you're wondering. All right. So he's like, what time we going? Is everything fine in the country? What the hell?
Is everything fine? Is everything okay?
Right.
Just things have been burning. I think it's been awfully warm lately.
So, and I said, and what did I say back to you?
You said, what do you want? You think I could fix all the ills of this country? I'm just one man, damn it.
Yep.
I get confused with the other Heinrich. I'm saying.
So there you go. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, we had a little back and forth here, and then he says, "Oof! I mean, the whole world's burning, even the UK."
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, you didn't know anything about that. I got friends in the UK. FFS, by the way, my show is huge in the UK for some reason.
This is what he said. So he's like, I mean, the whole world's burning, even the UK. So I said, give me a link. And he starts telling about these immigration riots, the burning migrant housing. So what do you got?
What are you talking about? What about? You did not say prepare it. You just, I swear.
That's what he told me. He's like, I got immigration, we got riots going on and stuff like that. So that was the Washington Post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I can pull it up here in case. I mean, I got this. I was gonna let you. I was giving you.
You should have told me I would have prepared the entire segment. I mean, this is what I know because I got friends that live in the UK and they've been paying attention to it. Right. There was a guy from like Sudan that was he had stabbed a guy. And so, you know, that's the basics of it.
This is in Belfast.
Yes.
Which is like one of those British Isles. It's not like England proper. It's like it's part of the UK.
Yeah.
Or Great Britain. I always get confused which is bigger. But yeah.
Yes, there was a 30-year-old like Sudanese guy that had stabbed a guy, and the video had floated around, and I don't think anything happened to him, and so people just lost their minds because, well, they just don't care. You know, asylum seekers are allowed to do whatever they want to. So
pretty much
they have gone through and burned migrant housing and all kinds of things. They are not happy.
You keep going. This is just, they just music and video. Oh,
I mean, that's basically the guy got stabbed in like the face, the neck, the head. Yeah, they try to like just destroy.
Horrific nice. And this is what's happening now in the UK. People are tired of the migrants.
Yep.
They're tired of the migrants in the UK. House cars and bus were torched across the city. There's rioting in the UK. Suggestions that non-white residents were deliberately targeted by the fire. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a race war. We got to hear Karmelo Anthony. We got in Belfast. Violent protests broke out in Belfast last night as hundreds of mass protesters torched homes and vehicles following the arrest of a Sudanese migrant over a brutal knife attack. Houses, cars, a bus, and supermarket was set alight as parts of the city descended into chaos, with some suggestions that non-white residents were deliberately targeted by some of the fires. Probably were. They probably were. Northern Ireland's First Minister, Michelle O'Neill, that's a shocking last name for someone who's the First Minister of Northern Ireland, condemned the outright thuggery, saying that these hooligans were a group of masked men burning families out of their homes is nothing less than disgusting cowardice. A 2-month-old baby was among those rescued. Sir Keir Starmer, I did not know he was a sir. Did you know that Keir Starmer, that the Prime Minister was a sir?
They knighted him? Wow.
As said, the disorder in Belfast was shocking and completely unacceptable, adding that he would not tolerate violence against people because of their background. Comments online suggested mobs were seeking out taxpayer-funded homes occupied by migrants, but it's not clear if any were actually attacked. The unrest came in direct response to the horrific stabbing attack the night before, when a Sudanese migrant inflicted knife wounds to a man's face, neck, and back in the residential streets. Described by police as a 30-year-old asylum seeker.
Yeah.
Not white. Who had been granted indefinite leave to remain. The suspect was last night charged with attempted murder and will appear in court today. But behind the unquestionably damnable violence were grave new questions over a gaping back door to Britain. And trust me, you never want your back door to be gaping.
No, it's a bad day when that happens.
It's never. You might have been a victim.
Well, you've been victimized, but don't be a victim after that, okay? That's the moral of the story.
That is the moral. And they're not willing to be victims. So good on Belfast. The Sudanese suspect legally crossed from the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland 3 years ago under a long-standing arrangement which meant no passport checks are conducted. Took a bus from Dublin to Belfast and immediately claimed asylum. The authorities revealed under pressure for answers yesterday. A few months later, the Home Office granted him a 5-year visa as a refugee.
Mhm.
Growing calls for review of border security measures deployed under the Common Travel Area, which allows freedom of movement between Ireland and the UK. The victim was named locally as Stephen Ogilvy, in his 40s, who last night remained in a serious condition in a hospital. It's understood he lived in the same block with social housing as the suspects. So yeah, in case you think that, like, you know, we're the only ones dealing with this problem.
Mhm.
But the reason I think this is interesting is because I think Europe is like a little bit of a canary in our coal mine here. You know,
Yeah.
like
No, I agree. That's why I was paying attention to it.
the unrest that we see there is not too far probably from happening here similarly. Let's hear more about the knife attack.
What do we know about the Sudanese man charged after the horrific Belfast knife attack? We must warn you, this report contains distressing content. The suspect has now been charged with attempted murder after an attack that left a man in his 40s in a critical condition, with serious injuries to his face, neck, back, and eyes. Disturbing footage spread quickly online, with witnesses claiming the attacker appeared to be inflicting severe injuries before hero bystanders intervened. Police have now confirmed the suspect travelled from Sudan to Ireland via France, before taking a bus from Dublin to Belfast in 2023, where he claimed asylum. He was later granted refugee status and leave to remain in the UK. The revelations have reignited debate over the common travel area between the UK and Ireland, with politicians demanding answers about border security and immigration checks. Officers insist there is currently no evidence the attack was terror-related and say they are working to establish a motive. Meanwhile, violent protests have erupted in Belfast, with homes, vehicles, and a bus set on fire, prompting appeals for calm from political leaders. So here's the question. In light of these new details, does this attack expose a weakness in the UK's border arrangements?
Yeah. You think? You think?
Yeah.
You think? It's craziness. It's craziness. They're setting the whole place on fire. And you know, there's a lot of questions you can ask. Like, what makes them any different from us? The numbers?
They're normally slow to do something like this, but they've been dealing with it for a while. And it's the same thing that we've been dealing with when it comes to immigration, right? We've been allowing people to come over here and just have free run of doing whatever they want to. The Ukrainian girl that got killed by the guy on the bus, that guy just got considered, he can't even stand trial because he's crazy. So he's most likely going to go to just some cushy insane asylum or even walk.
You heard about that.
Yeah. I pay attention to a lot of stuff like that because
I should point out to you, and this is something that, so there's an interesting distinction I just want to be very careful about. If someone pleads not guilty of murder by reason of insanity, a lot of people think, oh, you know, and the defense succeeds with that defense. Right? Yeah. Not guilty but by reason of insanity. A lot of people think that means he's going to just walk out.
No,
that's not reality. They actually commit him to an insane asylum, and they say, you know, often they'll spend the rest of their lives there. Now, the disconcerting part is we don't know that maybe the guy will walk free 2 years later, right? We don't know. But the idea there is, and there's different standards which will apply depending on the state you're in when you're talking about that situation, not guilty by reason of insanity, where as far as the level of insanity that a person has to have in order to qualify. Whether you can't appreciate the consequence of your actions, you can't appreciate that this is a wrong thing to do. Those are two different things. In other words, let's say not appreciating the wrong thing to do is like someone who literally cannot understand that killing people is wrong. He just doesn't understand. He's like he thinks it's the same thing as, you know, buying an ice cream or, you know, or punching a wall is killing a person. Like that's one type of insanity. Then there's a different type of insanity, which is a higher yardstick, which is you can't appreciate, like he's so insane he doesn't appreciate that when he stabs someone that they'll die or that it causes risk of death, right? And he just thinks that like, oh, okay, you just fill him up with more blood and he's fine, you know. And when the guy's laying on the ground, like that's a different level of insanity. So, but the reason I think that there's an important distinction here is there's a question, but that's not the same thing as someone being unable to stand trial. because of their insanity.
Yeah, but that's not really my point with this. This guy should be on death row.
Oh yeah,
and he's avoiding that.
The guy's a freaking monster.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the reason why they went for the defense. There's no way to say that he didn't do it, and so now they're doing it because I don't think he's been actually evaluated. I think they're assigning a doctor to him to be evaluated, and they did it to. Well, now he cannot go to trial and be he cannot get the death penalty. So from everything that I was reading,
yeah.
So I mean that's just it. They're saying, oh well, he can't stand trial, and they've got to assign a doctor to him. So they don't even really know, which is, to me, I do think that the UK is, like you said, a canary in the coal mine for the way the temperature around the world is when it comes to this sort of stuff. I think people are tired of having immigrants come in and just have carte blanche to do whatever they want, however they want, and nothing happens. Or, crazy people are able to just get away with whatever they want, however they want. Stabbing that girl on the bus, trying to saw this guy's head off and stabbing him in the back. All of this is wild. I mean, you look at Texas right now, as everybody's rioting because a kid stabbed another kid.
We Americans culturally tend to be very specific on when there's violent protest. Violent protest, for an American perspective, and this is what maybe a distinction between us and UK residents. And why we haven't seen this, because we've seen Irina Sorotska's, type of situation. We've seen one victim of immigration after another here in this country, and we don't see violent protests the way that Belfast just experienced. So it's an interesting question, like what makes us different?
I think it's the space.
I mean, we're a bigger country.
Yeah, I think we're a bigger country. What happens to me in my state doesn't affect you as much in your state. When you can literally be in Belfast in like a couple hours from, say, Wales, it hits home a little bit harder. You know what I mean?
But we saw with George Floyd that there was, violent.
Mm-hmm. And when it tried to trickle down here into my state,
across the country, though,
yeah,
there were across the country. I mean, it happened in Minnesota. You saw violence happening in New York, in LA, in Southwest. You saw it happening all over the country.
New York and LA are outliers because they're major lefty strongholds. But when you look at people trying to rally and do things further away, like in my state, it was like 12 people in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama, holding signs up for a couple hours because nobody cared. It did not affect them. Even the, let's say black people, for example, that were mad about the situation did not show up. They didn't care.
So you think the fact that our country is geographically so immense, that's why?
I think so. I think that plays a major part in it.
It's a theory. It could be. I think it's a theory that I think that it could be a factor, what you're saying. It's a factor I hadn't considered. But I think it's a reasonable factor. And it could be the primary factor. I'm not ruling that out.
Yeah, no.
I had a different thought, which is, we see violence over Black Lives Matter. We don't see, the only time we came close to seeing violence from white people, the two scenarios that the left has continually pointed to is obviously J6, and COVID lockdowns. Right? It's like everyone was there, and they gaslit the world about the complaints. Right? They gaslit that it was about trying to overturn a good and valid election, and they gaslit that that in Michigan that they wanted to hang Whitmer over the lockdowns. All this crap, all this stuff was obviously crap. But the question is, why it is that passions got so inflamed. And the one thing you see if you look at American history since its birth is there's nothing that riles us up quite like freedom. So, and thoughts of our freedom being imperiled, that's pretty much what gets us to rise to our highest peaks of outrage. And it's part of our culture because, the constitutional republic, looking at our rights, our freedoms, we look at it's ingrained in us from the time we're in primary school, as far as historically how we broke away from Great Britain for our freedoms, and that the ability and our Bill of Rights and the freedoms that are guaranteed therein are inbred into us in a way that's culturally different from the rest of the world, I think. So I think that perhaps that's why you only see us get violent when those freedoms become imperiled. And a lefty would try, if I had Pisco on this show right now, he would say, and that's why blacks rise up, because it's their freedoms in peril. That's why they, that's what we saw with Black Lives Matter, was that they felt their freedoms were imperiled. And while I think that's kind of a disingenuous counterclaim, I recognize that someone could make that argument. It's an argument that could be made. But all of this now comes back to the immigration thing. So the immigration thing doesn't feel quite like our freedoms. It doesn't. Even if we see one victim after another, it doesn't really feel like our freedoms. We feel as if we're being picked away at and picked away at, picked away at. But I don't know that we're going to snap so quickly the way they relatively have in the UK because of two factors. One, that we're not that ingrained in the EU. They're naturally ingrained in them to be all about what race you are. If you're, there's a very big distinction between Irish and English, Italian and German, French. They all have this pride in their race, which is reined in who they are, which is why I think that they're much more rife when they see that melt, when they see this immigration there, to actually feel like, no, you're attached. It's offensive to me as a Greek person to have these non-Greeks here, or to have these, if I'm an Italian, to have these non-Italians here. Like, they sort of take more of an offense to it, whereas here we're accustomed to having a melting pot. And that's the part of what's ingrained in us.
You think it's the homogeny being upset?
Yeah, exactly. I think that tribalism is far stronger by nature.
See, I think that plays a factor, but I also think we haven't been dealing with like the asylum stuff as long as they have. You know what I mean? I think they've been dealing with, I think Belfast is the research I was doing into it, which was just, skimming the surface. I think they've had sort of an open asylum system since like 2000. So they've been dealing with it for, let's say, 25 years. We haven't been dealing with these asylum cities where all these things have happened for as long, I don't think. I think that plays a part in it too. I don't think we've just got our bellies full of it.
So you're saying that it still is yet to come?
I think so. Yeah.
You think it's going to, despite the geographical distance?
Mm-hmm. Eventually, yeah.
Well, I think that's another factor also, is because of the geographical distance, before we notice it, to actually start feeling that outrage. That's why I think that's a factor.
There's a conversation I had recently with a bunch of friends that are scattered all over the country. And we were just talking about gas stations, for example, right? Every gas station around my neighborhood used to be owned by like, mom and pop shops. And now they're all owned by like Pakistani or Indian guys. Okay. So it's bleeding out into the entire country with all of this different immigration and stuff like that. And all it's going to take then is for it to happen somewhere. And people will eventually get their bellies full of it, right? Like, all of this stuff is being transitioned and turned over. So
see, to me, I when I saw Apu running the Quickie Mart, to me, that was like, that's, of course he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
well, that's because of where you live, though. Like, it's...
You're saying to you, that's a relatively new thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. The gas station I go to, a year ago was owned by a family, and now it's not. The gas station down the road from it was also owned by a family, and now it's not. Like, these things are slowly starting to creep in.
I haven't seen a white gas station attendant in 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but
I'm just saying, I haven't.
And it's happening everywhere. So I think that they've been dealing with it. Also, I think the geographical, the size.
I've seen white mechanics, but not white gas stations.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyhow, got another clip here from Belfast that I wanted to share with you all. So
Somebody said, "What white person wants to deal with gas station robberies?" I agree. No, I get it completely, but it's one of those things to where like other people that live in different parts of the country is like, "Oh, that's been like this for years." I'm like, not here. So
are now using water cannon. Let's bring in our correspondent.
They're using
Tom
water
Hunt,
cannons
to describe what's happening on the ground. Tom.
Yeah, you can see the water cannon now being deployed into a crowd of, it's hard to say, but a couple of hundred people, many of them masked.
It doesn't look like a couple hundred people to me. But...
that are further down this road,
Oh.
just off the Sandy Knolls roundabout, about 10 minutes north of Belfast city centre. And it is precisely the thing that everyone has been pleading with locals to avoid. You can see quite a few missiles coming over, quite a lot of big bricks that are coming over. So we're keeping our distance at this stage. The police
Oh crap, did Joe freeze? Is it just me here? Oh no. Oh god, let me go check on the YouTubes. Yeah, it's just me. Joe's frozen. I don't know what to do. It's just me, chat. I mean, I can't pull anything up. Joe's never given me. Yeah. I mean, I could bring Cody in here and he can like, make noises and bark for you guys, but Joe died. Joe just gave up. He didn't want to do anything anymore. He told me earlier he didn't want to do a show. And I said, Joe, we've got to for the people. And so he did it. No, I'm kidding. But it's now just me. What's going on, chat? What do we want to talk about? I can't bring anything up, but we can discuss things. Bring in Jim, Josen, turn your camera on. No, why does everybody always want to see me? Look, I'm a horribly disfigured black man, okay? FFS, why would I pitch FFS? It's just the funniest group of guys making fun of other people on the internet every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and every once in a while on Tuesdays or Thursdays. That's what we do. Sin, I got ready for Wet Your Pants. Wait, Wet Your Pants Wednesdays? Was that it? Is that what you said? Everybody, it's wild. No way you're a black man in Tennessee. I'm not in Tennessee, though. Say the N-word a bunch and get the stream taken. I'm not going to do that either. Wow, I can't believe Joe just died on me. I was trying to find more stuff for him to cover, and then he just goes AFK. His power may have went out. He may not have paid all the Jewish overlords. He keeps the space lasers in his house. So that's a problem for him. His power bill's really high, and you know how his people are, But New York is on fire due to the riots from the Nogball guy. I saw that. Yeah, but I saw that a little while ago that they were just tearing a sign down. Are they already destroying New York over the Knicks winning? Well, you can't give Jewish people anything. I mean, what's up, Joe?
How are you? I don't know what the hell. I don't even know what the heck
You
happened.
literally just froze. Then as a
just
black
froze.
man with a bad case of vitiligo. Nogbog, somebody says.
That was the weirdest thing in the world. All of a sudden.
Yeah, you just froze. I was sitting here and I was some of my friends from the UK were sending me stuff, and I was like, okay, see what's interesting or not. And then you just died. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. You saw anyway. I was getting tired of that conversation anyway. So
Is that what you were doing? You were just done with it? Is that what it was?
I was like,
You were freezing.
This video isn't working for me. By the way, on the polling that I put up before, when it comes to racial tensions, a majority of black people like Jasmine Crockett or they're sane. So I'm closing this out here now. 54% saying bunch of Crockett's. And why is this chat disconnected from me now? It was something like 36% saying that most of them are saying
Ask. Somebody's saying me to say acts is what they want me to do. It's acts. I told you I'm a black guy. Horribly disfigured, 7'5" black guy, people. That's exactly what I am.
Did you hear? By the way that you heard that Graham Platner won, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I predicted, and I think within a week we're going to start to hear all sorts of terrible things about him.
Oh, yeah, it always happens, Joe. What are you talking about? Of course.
I think a
Why
lot of
wouldn't
the
it?
crap he's involved in is going to start to come in a week. But for now, the Democrats are all circling around him. And the upshot of him winning, or being a near lock to win, has had a positive impact for you and me, potentially. You know what that positive impact is?
What is that?
Susan Collins has come out saying she's now in favor of the Save America Act.
Really?
Which, the reason that's significant, she's from Maine. So all of a sudden her head's in a chopping block. Her head's in, for 30 years, this useless piece of trash has been occupying a seat as a Republican in Congress and been the worst of the worst, like always ranking top 3 most likely to just vote against what we want her to vote for. Just disaster woman. Terrible woman. So yeah, she's all against if you're gonna guess who's against the Save America Act, the first 2 people you come up with are Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Those are the 2 like crazy lefties from the Republican Party. But now all of a sudden for years she never worried about it, as they cheated on election after election. They cheated on elections in Philly, in Atlanta, in Detroit, in New York, in Los Angeles, every major hub. They're cheating. Does she care at all about election integrity? Oh, hell no. Hell no. That useless hack didn't care about that at all. You want all of a sudden now when she's like, why? Because she was always safe. She was always someone who was unquestionably going to win her election. But now all of a sudden, Graham Platner, who's rising like a Nazi phoenix, is threatening her. All of a sudden now she jumps on board and she says, "I'm supporting the Save America Act." The reason it's significant is because she's number 50, which means that if we nuke the filibuster, which everyone's been screaming at,
since I started the show with you, we've been screaming that.
Nuke the filibuster.
Yeah.
That J.D. Vance is the 51st vote. So there's renewed pressure on whatchamacallit, on John Thune to nuke the filibuster now. And the time is getting short because, there's all sorts of steps that would have to be taking place if, in fact, they were to actually invoke the Save America Act. So the time is certainly very short. And I certainly don't want to falsely build hope for any of you that the Save America Act is going to be passed, but it has been resurrected. And I wanted to share with you some of the dialogue that's going on inside the Senate about the Save America Act so we can appreciate the nature of the conversation that's happening. This is actually something that was Brianna Morello reported on, that she scooped this, and she actually has memos that the GOP senators have been sending to each other about the Save America Act. This is not a joke. This is actually a serious thing. So, as she reports here, check this out.
All right.
I should share a screen if you're going to actually check anything out. I obtained a memo sent by Rhino Senator Tom Tillis to his Republican colleagues in the Senate. Tillis is infuriated over the Save Act and Senator Tommy Tuberville. Everyone knew, is that pronounced that right? Tuberville? Yeah. Everyone knew the Save Act votes would fail, Tillis writes. We allowed 2 Save Act votes that had no place in Vote-A-Rama, which prompted a circular firing squad led by Tommy Tuberville and some of our Republican colleagues. He adds, but the real problem I have is that the president and a few of our members forced us to take 2 more unsuccessful votes for the Save Act at the expense of our most vulnerable members in cycle. Members in cycle meaning the ones who have an election coming up this coming November. Susan Collins rightfully voted against it, representing her home state of Maine. After that vote, I informed the most vulnerable in-cycle members that I would vote however majority of them wanted me to. So, yeah, sure. However the majority wanted me to. Well, you had 49 voting with you. Why are you voting against it, jackass?
Yeah.
So that's not a majority? It's ridiculous. This is what he was saying. I'm gonna pull up.
By the way, people are making fun of you. It's Tuberville, not
Tuberville.
Tuberville. Yeah, it's Tommy Tuberville. Come on, man.
Come on.
You're better than that. You're an educated man.
It's spelled like a tuber.
No, it's not.
There's one
Tuber
B.
would be Tube. There's two B's.
There's one B.
You sure about that?
Yeah. What, did we not just read it together?
It's still Tuberville.
There's
one B. It's still Tuberville.
It's
You know
one B.
what? I'm corrected on that one, but I'm correcting you on the other one. I am retarded though. I've never claimed not to be. So that's on you.
This is what Tuberville wrote, colleagues.
Why now you're just doing it to be a jerk? I swear, man.
I hope you all have had an opportunity to get some rest after another vote-a-rama. I'm sure most of you would prefer to move forward, but I believe we will look back at this experience as yet another reason why we'll have historic headwinds against us in November. We missed an opportunity to remove a political albatross, the 1776 funds. That's the fund that Trump got set up.
Yeah.
From around our next of our colleagues who are in cycle, meaning he's afraid that the fund to remedy the injustices of victims of Biden DOJ that Trump set up, that he wants to basically get rid of the fund. This jackass. So he's like, we need to get rid of it to win the election because it's going to be a political albatross. People are going to vote against us because of this fund. Idiot. A lie. Stupid. Jackass. Either a moron or a liar. I have no idea which. Instead, we added weight to that albatross by having 41 members vote to protect the program. In addition, we allowed 2 SAVE Act votes that had no place in Vote-A-Rama, which prompted a circular firing squad led by Tommy Tuberville and some of our Republican colleagues. I cannot understand why a supermajority of our conference voted against the side-by-side I offered. I went forward with offering the amendment at the request of the members in cycle, meaning the only people who should care about the people whose elections are coming up right now. The amendment simply added the 1776 payout pot and an appropriate $1.7 billion to the DOJ fraud initiative. I knew most Democrats would not vote for my amendment because of the DOJ funding, but I thought it'd be a good landing place for members to voice their concerns with the 1776 fund. You're such a jackass. It's like he's trying to screw over the J6 defendants.
Yeah.
How did I know Democrats would vote against it? I asked them. They simply would not support the DOJ fraud funding, which is precisely why I had the provision in the amendment. The chance of this amendment passing and threatening the privilege of the underlying bill was 0. If you voted against my amendment because you were afraid it would strip the reconciliation bill of privilege, you were misinformed or a victim of groupthink. If you did for that reason, you should have voted against the SAVE Act for the same reason. Had either version of the SAVE Act been adopted, the underlying bill would also have been at risk of losing privilege. We took a majority with the SAVE Act. We took a major risk with the SAVE Act had Democrats wanted to meddle. If I had been a Democratic leader, I would have convinced a sufficient number of Democrats to vote for it, and immediately after it was adopted, I would have argued it was fatal to the privilege of the underlying bill. I'm actually a little curious what he means by that, the privilege of the underlying bill. I'm going to ask Grok if it can actually explain it. Yeah, I'm totally going. Yeah, I'm totally going Grok on this.
It's been a light Grok show.
Yeah, it's been Grok. We've been Grok free, right?
Yeah, we've been Grokless.
We've been Grok free. I think
walking around this thing Grokless, man.
Let me pull up the original thing. Copy. Sal, I'm going to ask you if you can look at an X link.
Sure thing. Go ahead. It's a leaked memo from Senator Tom
Yeah,
Tillis.
stop
to
talking
his
for a second
Republican-
until I pose my question. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to ask you is this: there's
right back.
attached there some screenshots of a memo. Can you actually read the memo?
Yeah, I pulled up the actual memo images. It's a full 2-page letter from Tom Tillis to his Republican colleagues. It's him complaining about the recent vote-a-rama, saying forcing those SAVE Act votes hurt their vulnerable senators like Susan Collins. He calls it a net loss for their in-cycle members and takes shots at Tuberville for starting a circular firing squad. Pretty salty tone, all about protecting their seats in November. Want me to read out any specific part?
I want you to explain what he means when he uses the phrase vote-a-rama first and foremost.
Vote-a-rama is basically a Senate tradition that happens during budget or reconciliation bills. Once the main debate time runs out, any senator can throw out as many amendments as they want, and the chamber votes on them one after another in rapid fire, often late into the night. It's a political show where people force votes on hot-button issues for messaging, even if they know they won't pass. In this memo, Tillis is mad they stuck the SAVE Act votes into that chaotic process because it put their swing state senators in a tough spot.
Now, how's it putting them in a tough spot? Does that mean that it could have passed as an amendment and passed with just a bare majority?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Vote-a-rama amendments only need a simple majority, 50 votes, to pass. The SAVE Act, which is about requiring proof of citizenship to vote, has a ton of bipartisan support in polls and would have probably cleared 50 votes easily. But those vulnerable senators like Susan Collins can't vote for it without getting hammered by Democrats back home for supposedly suppressing votes. So Tillis is saying they shouldn't have been forced into that position in the first place, because even if it passes the Senate, it still has to survive the House and a presidential signature anyway. It was pure messaging that hurt their re-election chances for no real gain.
Well, the next question I have is that he talks about privilege, and he said, had either version of the SAVE Act been adopted, the underlying bill would also have been a risk of losing privilege. What does he mean by losing privilege?
Losing privilege means the reconciliation bill could lose its special fast-track status in the Senate. Reconciliation bills are privileged. They can't be filibustered, debate is limited to 20 hours, and they only need a simple majority to pass. Tillis is saying that adding the SAVE Act, which is mainly about voting rules, not taxes or spending, is the kind of non-budgetary provision that could violate the Byrd Rule. If enough extraneous stuff like that gets added, the whole bill risks being stripped of its privileged status, meaning it could then face a filibuster and need 60 votes instead of 50. Democrats could even strategically vote for it just to create that vulnerability.
Okay, so that's a really interesting point that he's making, that Tom Tillis is making here when he's writing this thing, and so what you need to understand is there's a parliamentarian. This is someone who basically makes decisions as to how votes will work in the Senate. This parliamentarian has been there since I think 2012. She was appointed by Obama. Why we still have the same parliamentarian in the Senate is insane. She's the one who ultimately decides whether something counts as a budget bill and can pass with just 50, or it's not a budget bill, in which case you need to have the 60 people to invoke cloture and to avoid filibuster. So I'll tell you this much. He's probably correct that if this was added in as an amendment and you got the 50 votes to basically say, let's add this in as an amendment and throw this in as part of our budget bill, because the reconciliation that's the money that Congress is authorizing to spend. So if they had thrown this in as part of their budget, in that case, the parliamentarian can say, no. This is not something that can go with just a simple 50. You need to get 60 because you put in such a significant extraneous element to the bill that it's no longer considered really a budget bill. It's really a bill about Save America Act. In fact, I'll tell you this much. She likely would have said this is no longer a budget bill. Now, what that could have done if you had a person who had cojones and an interest of actually getting this thing passed is to have Senator Thune say, "You're fired," or "We're ignoring you," because she's not the Senate. It's more like a recommendation that yet the Senate always follows it. You don't have to follow what the parliamentarian says. You run the Senate. You're the majority. You can say we're ignoring you, and you would. But you think that stupid Thune is going to do that? No. So in a certain sense, I cannot deny that Tom Tillis is telling the truth here. That it would get the parliamentarian to basically strip the overall budget from having its 50 majority. And what Tillis is saying is then once it gets stripped of that, now we're not going to have a budget anymore, and that's not going to be signed off on. So that's the point that he's trying to make here. So now that we're all on the same page, are you on the same page now? Are you good now?
Oh, I'm great.
All right. So, but the real problem I have is that the president, if you remember, is forced to take 2 more unsuccessful votes of the SAVE Act at the expense of our most vulnerable members in cycle. Susan Collins rightfully voted against it, representing her home state of Maine, which voted against it by nearly 65-35 margin in 2025 referendum. I don't believe that at all. I need to ask Grok whether that's really true. That cannot possibly be. That doesn't make any sense. He references in his letter to Tillis does that there was a referendum in Maine which voted against the Save America Act by a 65-35 margin in 2025. Is that accurate, or was that a different type of bill?
It's close, but not quite accurate. Maine voters did reject a ballot measure in November 2025 that included a voter photo ID requirement, along with other restrictions on absentee voting and drop boxes. It lost roughly 64-36, which is basically what he rounded to 65-35. It wasn't the federal SAVE Act, though. That one's about requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. The Maine one was a state-level citizen initiative on election procedures. So same political fight, different bill.
Yeah, of course, you take the citizenship out of it, it changes everything about the bill. It's the stupidest thing. It's a false argument that this jerk is trying to make. Rural state senators voted for it, but now they must explain why shutting down mail-in ballots, ending early voting, and complicating registration is a good thing for rural voters in big states. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be very mad, the rural voters. They're going to be very mad that we're compelling citizenship. You're such a jerk. Other members will need to account for their past positions in support of state laws that would be repealed or preempted if the SAVE Act passes. It's not the SAVE Act, the Save America Act that we won't pass. Those are 2 different acts, first and foremost. What else did I have here? What was page 2 of this? Even worse, Tommy Tuberville and others initiated a circular firing squad calling out Susan Collins and other Republicans by name. Amazing. Members not in cycle attacking our most at-risk member because she supports the view of 65% of voters in her state. You're a freaking liar, because it's not the view of 65% voters in her state. You're taking something, a false equivalence, and trying to pretend that that's what applies to them. Tommy Tuberville responded, and he said, quote, "It was beyond embarrassing that Republicans continue to block the Save America Act. Senator Tom Tillis, Lisa Murkowski, McConnell, and Senator Collins have not only betrayed their constituents, they are accomplices in Democrats' illegals first agenda. The people of North Carolina, Alaska, Kentucky, and Maine deserve better." I find this remarkable on several levels, but you would think a member of Tommy's comms teams who has a spouse working on the NRSC leadership team could see how this is only helpful to Susan's opponent. Did these people talk? Meaning, you think if you're in Maine and you see that she's standing against the Save America Act, do you think that you're more likely to vote for Susan Collins or less likely? You think a GOP member of the GOP is more likely or less likely to vote? You think that the 87% of both Democrats and Republicans collectively are more likely or less likely to vote for her? Stupid. Idiots.
Why would you save this for the last story of the night, Joe, and get all like riled up and mad about it?
Oh God, I hate this guy. And I'm glad that Tommy's calling him out. Do these people talk? Other members have referred to those who oppose nuking the filibuster and passing the SAVE Act as traitors and defectors on social media. Get them, Tommy. Get them. Everyone knew the SAVE Act votes would fail, yet we went ahead anyway because the president requested them at the expense of our members. This simply prompted more attacks of our own, which I assume was the president's goal. 3 of our most vulnerable members were already forced to vote on the first Schumer amendment, focused on the 1776 fund and the motion to commit. Cassidy and I voted against it to give our members room to vote for it. After that vote, I informed the most vulnerable in-cycle members that I would vote. However, a majority of them wanted me to. If it meant voting with them or, like the Schumer amendment, against them, I offered them my proxy for the right. I am not suggesting that you give members your proxy, but I am suggesting forcing votes that have no upside for in-cycle members and attacking them when they vote is not helpful to saving our majority. I get in Tuberville's case, it was likely to help him boost. What is this? In Tuberville's case, it was likely to boost in the. Oh, this must be a response from Tillis to Tuberville. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, so Jim did text me. He says something about that that JD breaking the tie because Markwayne Mullins empty seat, by the way. So
right.
You made a big misstatement. I would normally just steal that and take all the credit for it and be big brain, but that was Jim who told me that. And so now your whole thing is completely off. Go back, start the whole segment over. Get it done.
Everywhere I was reading is we have 50 votes now.
Mm-hmm.
But he could be correct. It's a fair point. I haven't seen a count in the names that amount to 50. So he says, I get in Tuberville. So this part here, this paragraph here is a response. This is when it says this is what's so misleading about this thing. The top part here is Tommy Tuberville. This part here from everyone knew the SAVE Act would fail is Tom Tillis responding to Tuberville. Everyone knew the SAVE Act votes would fail, yet we went ahead anyway because President requested them to expense of our members, simply prompted more attacks of our own, which I assume was the president's goal. 3, and this is him complaining that they're gonna lose the majority. You jackass! Why? I'm gonna ask you this, Tom Tillis. Why would anyone care about a majority when you can't get anything done? Nothing. If you cannot pass the Save America Act, if you cannot get this thing passed, I do not care about having a Republican majority. You are useless. If you cannot get this thing passed, I do not care if we have a majority. I don't care if we lose the House. I don't care if we lose the Senate. I don't care. All I care about is the Save America Act. And I know that at least 85% of Americans agree with me. So learn to read the room. You're a freaking senator. I don't know how it is you amass all these votes when you can't understand what a basic American wants. It's disgusting. See, I got all.
They don't ask them. They don't care.
I got all riled up.
Yeah, I told you. You got to start finishing with a happy ending. Start getting you a feel-good story at the end, Joe. Now your blood pressure's up.
Give me a feel-good story.
I don't know. I mean, I quit. I quit earlier. Jim fired me, and I
tapped
quit.
out. You tapped out.
Yeah, I quit. Yeah.
I need sort of like wake up.
But no, they don't care, Joe. They haven't cared for a while, and that's why Tommy Tuberville was up there being mad. That's why Tuberville, I don't think, is ever going to run again. He was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing it. So
stupid. It's just stupid.
Solid
saying, I'm glad I have black friends who agree with the verdict. If I had very limited interactions with black folk, this mellow case would make me hateful. Probably so. Yeah, it's true. Kimmy's saying Belfast is Northern Ireland. You don't mess with the Irish unless you want to go for centuries. He was trying to behead him. Yeah, he was. You could see in that video. He's like basically grabbing the guy's head and like it's sickening. Rehabilitation is unreasonable for taxpayers. I think by rehabilitation he means reparations. That's what I'm assuming he means. Otherwise, I don't know what that means. Check your text. Mother, whose last name is actually MAGA daughter, murdered in Crook County, Illinois, with sisters seeing guy with gun in hand walk outdoor and no arrest by Soros DA. I don't know what. I'm not going to have time to actually start covering that now because my co-host faded 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, you killed me with that story. I'm sorry, man. You murdered me with that story.
Saying the story I need to look at. Yeah. I'm not going to end up covering that tonight. That's definitely not. That needs more time and focus and attention than me trying to drag Heinrich along here. So
why are you doing that? Thanks, Joe.
Sorry. Sometimes I forget. It's not society's responsibility to unmake rehab what made the that's what he said rehabilitation is unreasonable taxpayers, saying like putting them in prison. It's not society's responsibility to unmake rehab what made the criminal betrayer did to violate the community. Well, you could look at it as an investment, if we're successful in rehabbing them. So I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with you on that, Patrick. He was sentenced to 4 months of evaluation, and that was just done. Link is in the Rumble chat. Thank you, Class Son. That's very thoughtful of you.
I love Class of 21. They're great. Very funny in my chat, too. Thank you.
Yeah. No, Joe, riots minus USAID funding equals less riots. George Floyd was financed. Minnesota, California, New Jersey uprising are all financed. It's not geography, it's money. So that's why there's enough money for the riots. That's true. That's actually a great point that JH is making. That the money that they get enables them to basically go out there and have these lengthy protests that go on for weeks and tearing crap down. So he's weighing in on what I was talking about, why we don't see the right really rioting so much. But I mean,
it's not so much the right. Like these things would be equal across the board, I think, in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these sort of protests are, I think they.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, it's really college kids who go out there and riot. It's
because they want to they want to steal stuff. They want to loot. They're rioting to end up hoping to loot is what most of these people are doing now. Except for the organized ones that we were discussing. What was it last week? Who went through that whole umbrella organization of all the nonprofits funding this stuff? It was either last week or week before.
I don't remember that.
It was the homework you gave me.
Oh yeah. That's
Jesus.
Great times. Great times. Hands One Back says Jake Lang is as bad as the idiot race baiters, but on the other side, I view him like Crockett. You're not alone. You're not alone. There's something that feels very grifty about Jake Lang. Very, very grifty. Where it's like everyone who's trying to inspire people to act a certain way based on hate, invariably, it's like 12% hate, 88% grift. But anyhow, that's what I got for you guys tonight. I thank you all for joining me. I don't know. You have a show, right? You have a channel?
Yeah, I do a show. It's called FFS Cast.
FFS Cast. Is there a link that I have?
There is a link I can give you. Give me like 2 seconds. I don't know why I didn't. Normally I put it in there for you. But yeah, we do a stream every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then what I normally do is I'll throw in like a little extra day here and there, depending on what's going on and what I feel like talking about. So you people can come by, say hey. Y'all can subscribe. I would enjoy that. And if you have any suggestions about things you would like for me to talk about, you can always DM me at Ambient Aristotle or my other account, Stimulated Sin. You can find me on the Twitters. That'd be great.
And I'm supposed to be joining him on the FFS Cast next week.
If you want to do a political show or something funny, I'll do a solo show and you and me can do it.
He's never invited me. I'm like starting
Well,
to
like
feel
the
like
lore,
offended.
like Tammy Faye, it's been showing up, and a lot of other people. The
Never
lore of the
invites me.
people we're covering right now would be so much to get you caught up on. I would have to send you 2 videos for you to watch.
Oh,
It's
I
like
have to,
2
you're saying I
hours.
have to like homework.
Yeah, you would have to do homework to know who we're covering. And then or we could just do, regular. I could bring Jim on. Jim comes on pretty regularly. And
It's like one of those type of things.
yeah, I could bring Jim on with you, and then us 3 could hammer something out.
You're saying it's restricted.
It's not restricted. It's
Access
just
access to your show is
It's
restricted.
not what I'm saying at all. I just, we'd have to find something nice to cover. So
I'm just saying,
anytime you want to come, Joe, you're invited.
I'm just saying,
Doors open.
it's restricted access.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's very, very restricted. So, yeah.
There is a character that we've been covering that is some overlap that Nick Ricada knows about the guy, and maybe I could bring you and him on, and then we could discuss a funny thing.
Oh, you're saying so if I can help
No, I would reach out to Nick. I don't need you to do it, okay? And then we could all have fun,
Right. So if me alone there wouldn't actually be fun. If we can
Well,
manage to find a way
you
to get
being there would be fun. We would just have to find the right topic. Joe, I don't think you're listening to me.
No,
I
I'm
just don't
listening
think you're-
very, very. I think I'm listening very, very closely.
I don't think you're paying attention, Joe. But no, we do need to do that on probably a daytime stream, which I am going to start doing sometime soon. I just got to find the time to get that scheduled and start going, because we stream about the same time.
And that's all I got for you tonight. I thank you all for joining me. I tell you that I'm going to remind you that lab meat is not meant for you. It's meant for they, them.
Why are you pointing?
I meant the they, them.
They, them. I see.
They,
the ones in the
them.
chat is what you're pointing
They,
at.
them. It's not meant. It's not meant for you. It's meant for they, them.
Got you.
They, them.
Those
And do
guys.
not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Have a good night, everyone. As always, Godspeed.
Bye.